Ahoy! Today we are making a tier list for Season 8. This is a basic overview of what's going to happen in Season 8, obviously based on PTS, not set in stone. Just generally figuring out where things are, what we've seen on PTS, what might be strong, what you might want to ban if you like jump into ranked right away, and things like that. With me are Flareb00t and Wraithyn, and we had a pretty funny conversation about how to introduce them. So Flare wanted to be introduced as a washed-up ex-coach and theory crafter, and Wraithyn is putting a thumbs up, but he knows that he's going to be the small content creator. Say a little bit about yourselves really quick, guys.
Go first, Flare. No, absolutely not.
Hi, I'm Flare. I'm British. That's it. No, I'm a theory crafter. I've used to coach. I wrote the Word of Thoth, which, if you don't know, is the SMITE mechanics guide. Not to toot my own horn too much, but I know a lot.
It's very good.
Or I think I know a lot.
Dude, you're gonna get this video demonetized if you talk about tooting your horn anymore.
Yikes.
My name is Wraithyn. I'm a SMITE streamer, community member, was an Olympian for 2 years. I've played since season 3, and I have focused all of my content and time around kind of teaching from the perspective of like an average or slightly above average player, which most of us are. So that's who I am.
Okay.
Small content creator.
And if you want to check them out, all the links will obviously be down below, so we don't have to talk about them individually. Outside of that, it's worth noting with this video, my budget is a bit like scrappy right now. It's 34 degrees in my room. I have to make do with what I can, and Flare's having Wraith is having a rave because he's getting subalerts in between. And yeah, I wanted to do this tier list because I think it's good to have like a bit of an introduction, and some of you may be wondering why I didn't get any SPL players, and that's because most SPL players haven't really played all too much PTS because they were busy with Worlds, so they didn't really get much of an experience, where both Flareb00t and Wraith were able to play a lot more, so that we all have a very good idea of what's going on. We're not going to go through this alphabetically, we're just going to go through this by whatever we feel like we have something to say about, and yeah, let's get started. Flare, you had something to say about Izanami, I think.
So, Izanami got what I feel was the biggest change to anyone in the Hunter class, which is the first one to have any change to their projectile speed. So, the patch notes just said she gains projectile speed as she gains attack speed. I was lucky enough to find out the exact numbers of how this works out. But basically, it scales up between 110, which is the standard basic attack speed. So that's how any of your hunters or your mages are firing. When she hits 2 attack speed, she's firing at 160 per second, which is nearly 50% more. That's it. The idea of it was to make it more obvious that where she's throwing them and when they're coming back. So there wasn't this disconnect of there'd be one coming in and one coming out at the same time. But it makes her projectiles so much harder both to juke and easier to aim.
Mm-hmm.
That I think she's going to be way more highly contested than she was last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of the gameplay that I've had in PTS has demonstrated she was an incredibly potent character. Even if one of my games did involve me having 100 power from Silver French Bow. Which is a fun thing that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, good.
Actually, I lie. It wasn't 100. It was 200 power from Silver Branch alone.
We're not talking about you breaking the game. You wouldn't do that.
You're just saying that because I beat you up with it.
Yeah. Just to quickly clarify,
chief game breaker.
There was a glitch on PTS where you could essentially get infinite attack speed, right, through selling an item and then get power through that. Okay. Where would you place her based on that?
I'm going to say a strong S, purely because of the pressure she provides, the ability to late game team fight with basically unmissable autos if you have any good aim at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the item changes do help her a lot. Because we are kind of going back into a meta that is not one-sided in terms of the Kins crit debate.
Yeah. Wraith, do you have anything to add, or are you just done with that?
I picked up Izanami mostly in jungle practice just to see how she felt, and I mean, I could, as somebody who's played a lot of Izanami, and I've recommended her to new players a lot just because of how easy it is to clear. I think she's going to be a serious contender for best hunter in the game. I mean, I think she's going to be up there with Apollo.
Right.
If I look at it, I mean, she's going to have clear speed, pressure. It's so much easier to hit her stuff that I just I think she's going to be a monster. If I'm being honest with you.
All right, S tier list then.
Yeah, easily.
Right. Do you have any god that stands out to you that you really want to talk about from PTS?
I would have to say it's probably gonna be Apollo. Obviously, I think he was in every single game. I don't know. I don't know. We did this kind of song and dance in season 5 when they increased the map size, where everybody's like Athena, Apollo, Giannis, like Thor, Rat. Like these are all SS plus tier gods now. And I think out of those, I think Apollo stands out to me as something that's. I mean, he was strong at the end of season 7. They haven't really changed much about him. You know, his global presence is going to be valuable, but I think it. You know, I think I'm going to put him in a strong S as well. He's still a very good character. The global ult is nice, but I actually, in a lot of the testing that I did, I'm still on the fence about whether or not globals are truly valuable, because, you know, there's getting to a team fight a little bit late because you have a global, and then there's farming the entire opposite side of the map because nobody's over there anymore, right? I think the globals are important, but there were a few times where I was like, you know, I could global ult my way to this team fight around the fire giant, or I could push the tier 2 tower and left, clean their entire jungle and take Gold Fury and get like a 4-level lead.
I think what's also important in that context is if you plan to gank with it, you're harder to be seen with the new walls, which is for all aerial ults basically, and I think that's pretty impactful for Apollo as well, especially just dunk down in mid lane and no one knows that you're coming.
I think at least at the beginning of the season, and this is the other thing that was interesting that changed over the course of season 5, is I think at the beginning of the season, global ults are going to be super OP because everybody's going to be kind of in that mode where they're like, I have to be at every single team fight, I have to be at every single rotation, I have to be at every single objective. And I think that's going to change over time to what I've been calling like counter farming, right? Where if somebody goes for gold, you go for pyro, you know, things like that, where it's like, it's impossible for me to rotate, so I need to find other farm. But I think until people get into that mindset and into that mode, these global ults are going to dominate pretty heavily. So I would put him in S there. I think he'll probably come down as the season goes on.
I think it comes down to the early season experimentation of people trying to extract maximum value out of the map. Where, like, earlier on in the season, a lot of it, people see extracting value as, oh, I need to be at a team fight, I'm getting those kills to get X objective. And then as the season progresses, it becomes more of a soul state of people trying to work out, all right, so they're doing this, I need to work out how I can strip every piece of XP and gold from them that I can whilst maximizing my own.
Yeah.
I think I would put Chernobog up there in the same category. Actually, I think Chernobog's probably better than Apollo just because of how fast you can rotate.
Yeah. I was going to say that I think Chernobog is actually like, out of all the global ults you can look at, Chernobog and Athena really stand out, and I think Chernobog just does it a little bit better. So I would definitely put him along there, just for that reason alone. I haven't actually seen much of him, but just the fact that he can rotate so quickly on such a big map, I don't know.
He also did get minor buffs in the Season 8 patch.
Yep.
Like, the mana cost reduction was
right.
nice because I mean, he was a pretty mana-hungry god compared to a lot of the other hunters. He does have a 2-ability combo that is his wave clear. And just getting a base attack speed increase on that too was really handy too.
Yep. I haven't seen much of him, so I can't really add much yet. Has anyone played against him much or played him much?
I played him a whole bunch, and what Chernobog's really good at doing is stretching the enemy team out, which is much more impactful on the Season 8 map.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's kind of one of those things where, like, people have to get used to giving up towers for other objectives or other things. You know, where if a Chernobog split pushes, you just let him go and you force the fight, or the way that you get him off of the tier 2 tower or the Phoenix or whatever is by hard committing to an objective or a team fight, right? Versus sending somebody back, they defend the Phoenix, right? Like if you got a 4v5, you either need to commit to it to get them to ult over in the team fight, or you win the 4v5, right? I played him once, and the team that I was playing against struggled very, very hard with that. Because I would just stretch him out, and whether I got the tower or not, I just ult, I go over to the team fight, we get the 4v5, we win every single time.
Yeah.
Which I think is very different.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's also a tiny little thing in the power of the ult in terms of the vision it grants. Obviously, because the map's bigger, your wards have effectively less range.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though the size is the same, they're covering a smaller portion of the map. So Chernobog's giving you
the layout is...
AoE vision. Chernobog's giving you AoE vision of everybody. So that information is relatively more powerful than Season 7's.
Yeah, and the layout is different as well with the more gaps in the jungle, so there's more spaces that you want to get vision of as well. So definitely.
Especially going into duo lanes. Duo lanes jungle entries was so much more interesting than Season 7's, in my opinion.
And mid lane as well. I mean, the new Happy opening there, that's pretty neat. Okay.
Yeah, I thought just comment on the wording. I was gonna bring this up when Season 8 dropped. It's it used to be like positional warding, right? Like if you're the jungler, you ward here. If you're the mid laner, you ward here. If you're the support, you ward here, and then you kind of adjust slightly if you want to go for an objective, right? But now it is straight up. There's just 10 places that need to be warded whenever you do anything. And whoever puts them down it's like, who cares, right? Like if you're gonna go for a red buff invade, you gotta have that covered, or if you're gonna go for a fire giant, you have to have that covered. And there's no like standardized warding spots anymore because there's just too many places to get ganked from in the mid lane and everything else. I always found that interesting about the new map.
True. Okay, one god that I really want to talk about, Set. I think Set is and I will not take a no on this one, is easily S tier and possibly even better. Because Set benefits...
I think he's S+.
Yeah, we only have SS and S, so I think...
Sorry, S and S, sorry, my bad.
I'm going to put him at the front of S, but Set benefits from, I think, 3 different new starter items and the upgrades that were introduced. I think it's Bombas plus Bombas Hammer, Manikins plus the upgrade, and Bluestone plus the Corrupted Bluestone upgrade. He benefits from a bunch of other items that were changed, either more bruiser or more tanky in some way that he can use, and everything else. And yeah, there's literally no downside to playing him. And this ultimate is actually really nice as well, with the high movement speed across the map, with the map being longer, so there's more chase potential. Like, we could put him in SS, but I feel like SS is when they're like so broken that you can never stop him. I think you can still stop him, but
I think if he gets late game, he is impossible to stop, because his 2 when he's in his ult procs Boomba's hammer procs, and you just
pop them over and over.
You're a lawnmower at that point.
Yeah, or you just have like plus a billion attack speed if you have Corrupted Bluestone, or you just deal a truckload of damage if you have Manikins.
I think if we ever see a change to Boomba's hammer that involves an internal cooldown, Set will be one of the reasons why it happens.
Yeah, for sure. I think Set's broken to the point where they're going to reevaluate some of those items. Same thing like they did with Pele in R3. Because if you think about it, when you're in Set's ult and you're getting off that much damage, it's basically like you're triggering Pele's 3 over and over and over again. It's that short of a cooldown.
Yeah,
it's the extra set of skewers as well.
You know, you know what? You're
usually
right.
Kingslayer, you get like 2 skewers tops,
but
with Boomba Hammer proc, you can easily get 3 or 4.
No, I think you're right. He's SS until they change Bombas to some degree. I think what the suggestion that I've seen most frequently with Bombas, I don't know how code heavy that is, would be that it only procs once per ability slot in a certain, like, internal cooldown time span, which I think is better than just giving it eternal cooldown. So that somebody who has like a quick combo of 2 abilities doesn't get set back as much, but somebody like Set can just not abuse it the same way as he can now. But we'll see what happens with that.
I think the best way to do it would be a diminishing return per proc. Right? I mean...
Yeah, but you could do that as well. But again, the problem would still be if you nerf it the wrong way, it just hits some characters that are completely fine with it, like that are not broken with it. But if you if you limit it to once per slot, then you kind of take, or like once per slot every 10 seconds, 5 seconds, make it what you will. But then you have all the broken cases being fixed, basically. You have Set being fixed, Tsukuyomi being fixed, Yemoja being fixed, and all that. So I think that'll do a lot.
I think the issue is, I think what they'll probably do, just being around balance with them for so long, is they'll probably make it so his 2 doesn't proc item effects. like
Yeah,
deploying his two.
that's just such a crutch solution. I really hope they don't do that. I could imagine
it's,
that they don't.
it's similar to toggles is the problem.
Yeah, it is, but then it's
you
also
can get it with
not.
such a short cooldown. Yeah.
It's like it's something in between, and that makes it so annoying. Okay.
Pele can still use it, and she has a 2-charge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't really.
The problem is
take it
really
off
his
charges.
ult, right? It's a 0. It's really a 0-second cooldown ability when he's in his ult, right? Or
Yeah.
0.5. You know, it's that's the break case for it.
Yeah.
But so I had one more that I was gonna put in like A+, potentially even S, and it may just be because the games are going really long. But Kali, I played
she's been
Kali
good,
with mannequins.
Yeah.
Because if she doesn't really need health, right? She gets health off her 2 and her leap. So that part of the jungle sustain isn't bad. And then she just gets that like lawnmower passive when she gets a couple items online. So I was curious what your guys' thoughts were on that. I played like 2 games with her, and she was like a chainsaw on both of them. It's still at this awkward early game where I bought like a whole bunch of mana pots, but I mean it just wasn't enough. I mean it was enough that it was kind of funny that every time I bought Manikin in the jungle with like an auto attack based god like Kali, Baka, or Arachne, it actually didn't feel bad to buy a mana chalice for the first time since I started playing or since it was in the game. But it was curious what you guys think on that one.
Yeah, I messed around with her a little bit. I did actually try to run her Death Toll because I wanted to see if that works. It works, but it's really slow. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I saw quite a few people on the enemy team play her. I definitely think that she does much better than she did in previous seasons. The problem that I have with Kali specifically is that she's always hard to weigh, similar to like someone like Bakasura when it comes to what you see on PTS versus how she actually performs on a game where players are of equal skill, because she can just frag so easy through like a team that's not fully coordinated. I would say she's not S material when I compare her to like Izanami or Chernobog or Apollo, but I would say she's definitely A+ at the moment. That's what I think.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think Mannequins is she is one of the perfect examples of Mannequins in the jungle, and another example of how Season 8 has changed it in that junglers are going to need to be more disciplined with how they clear camps. That was the first thing when I started playing jungle PTS. That everyone just has this AFK mindset that, I have Assassin's Blessing, I'm gonna get mana for clearing this camp, and no, you do not have any mana anymore.
Yeah, you have to juke the speed buff cleave now because it's actually gonna hurt you.
Yeah, right.
And you have to pay attention to scorpions, which don't heal you at all, even if you have Bamba Stagger, which you have to get your team to rotate as well, which is very frustrating. So a lot more timers as well, because the harpies have different spawn timers from the buffs, which really sucks, but yeah, makes things very messy.
So to that end, I think Baka and Arachne are both up there in us for me.
Yeah. I think the fact that they have built-in sustain is
they have the sustain
incredibly good for their item choices.
I mean, just the fact that Arachne is just a busted character to begin with, right? Like she'd be good, with just Bumbas, I think.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that now she can gas pedal her early game, get Manikin and a Golden Blade, full clear every camp, just plenty sustain in her one.
It's like having an Arachne with old Arachne passive.
Yeah, or with it's like having an Arachne with all that extra damage on her one that they nerfed like twice last year. And plus the thing I was factoring in there is like the Bakasura eat minion. Right now you got movement speed. You're building katanas like you always have. That movement speed adds up over the course of a game. And the thing that Arachne and Baka do really well is they catch people who are out of position, and that's why they've always been like these massive like frag monster gods, is because you're in ranked or you're in a casual game or whatever, and if you're just good at picking off somebody who's just a little too far from their team, that's awesome. And with the way that the team fights get stretched out in Season 8, I think Arachne, at least for me, is a candidate for SS Plus in most normal games, but
I wouldn't want to overdo it. I think she's not S material, because I've seen quite a few Arachnes and she did perform well, but not set level well.
That's the only thing holding me back, is she's not nearly as good as like a set.
Yeah, I would say she's a solid S tier. And what also like is really in her favor is the jungle control that she has with the different starts that are happening at the moment. She can do any start better than anyone else because she can place her webs wherever she wants to. And you know, you could literally, for example, have your mid laner solo clear red if they want to, with the help of some spiders, for example, and just completely change the rotation over. So I think that's huge.
It's the old level 1 blink or level 2 blink in mid.
Yeah.
All over again.
Yeah. So I think Arachne is S. Bakasura I think is very good as well, but I don't think so far that he benefits from the new starters as much as the others. I mean, obviously Manikin is very good on him, don't get me wrong, and Eye of the Jungle is too, but I feel like Eye of the Jungle might also get some more nerfs, so hard to say. Eye of
the Jungle's weird because when you look at it, it looks like an OP item, and obviously it was a bit too strong because it got the attack speed nerfed and stuff. But then you look at the passive and you think, do I really need this?
I think the passive is terrible. Not terrible.
Then you build it into Protector of the Jungle, and you just I'm glad I had this in the first place.
Yeah, but then I think the Protector of the Jungle passive will get nerfed more. I think the flat stat buff is insane.
It's kind of a nutty item.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Hello, this is a permanent red buff in the jungle.
Yeah, it's and protection. 12% protection with Bakasura benefits from because he has has extra protection from his 2. Yeah. Maybe that's the case.
I have a sneaky A+. S.
Wait. Where are we putting Baka? Is he more like an S tier or more like an A+?
Oh, I think he's S for sure.
I'd leave him S.
Yeah. Okay. Put him S. All right, give us your A+.
Let's get the good ones out of the way first.
Yeah, right. Sorry, I thought we were done.
Go on.
We'd already put him in S.
Go
on. So my sneaky can basically use any starter item, is a fantastic early game jungler, has amazing clear, and snowballs really, really well off of all the farm in the jungle, is Thanatos.
Yes, Thanatos is extremely good.
Is going to be so good.
Yes.
In season 8, his mobility is nuts. He can gank from anywhere. He has all that sustain. He barely uses any mana, so he can run Manikin. He can run whatever the heck he wants in the jungle. And on top of that, if you combine his passive with the Bumba's passive, or your lower ability cooldowns, he's an insane character.
Not even just that. I actually can describe a scenario from one of my games. We had somebody playing Thana on the enemy team, and he built, I don't know all the items anymore, but what was definitely in there was some Flat Pen, Hydras, Titan's Bane, and the new item, Dominance. So for the first ability and his basic attack, he had like roughly it must have been like 40 to 50% pen, and then some flat pen on top of that, and then his 2, obviously. And what he would do is he would not fight at all in that sense. He would just fly up, dunk down on the mid laner, and basic attack them once, and they were dead. And then you couldn't respond because you can't see him anymore because the walls are higher. And then he crashes down on you, and you're done for. Either you you immediately pull beats and Aegis quickly enough, or maybe you get hit with a 1 afterwards, but by that time you're dead.
Yeah, my favorite part of season 8, by the way, is that everybody can stop making fun of me for using restricted camera pitch, because now it just doesn't.
It doesn't work anymore.
Anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I was actually gonna tweet about that. But you're finally right about that.
I had him as A+, or that's where I was thinking. I think he's probably a little better than that.
I'm not opposed to putting him A+ for now and just see how he goes. Unless there are any objects. It's at the front of A+ kind of. Because I find it really hard to judge how frequently you get to the point in game where you can abuse it that much. But yeah, I'm done with it.
It's another example of PTS data is very volatile.
Exactly, especially when it's Thanatos.
It doesn't completely invalidate it, but it just puts some skepticism on how things can fluctuate between the season.
Right.
Okay, I want to give you an example of a guard that's not as much PTS data, but is definitely high tier, and that is Merlin. Merlin is absolutely insane with Spear of Desolation. If you get any assists or kills around you, Wait, does it proc of assist? I think it's proc of assist.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
You get your ult basically instantly reset if you have a little bit more CDR, which means you can swap into next stance, do more damage, get another kill, get a reset, get another kill. Obviously, only works as long as you're completely snowballing, but fortunately for him, everything else in the new meta also works out very well because he can clear the first camp on his own if he wants to, like the red buff. Various new items benefit him a lot, especially the Archmage's early damage if you want that. Or the other upgrade is really, really good on him, where you for every ability you use, you get extra damage, like percentage damage and movement speed and protection, which means that he has that up all the time, and it makes him absolutely insane. So Merlin, I would say, is definitely S.
I will say this till
believe
my
you.
dying day. Gemma Focus is an absolute banger, and people are sleeping on it. Spammy mages love the item. It is literally better than having a red buff. Damage increase is not a stat that any person gets access to, apart from having your support girdle you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
that plus damage mitigation, plus the movement speed on a spammy mage like Merlin,
Yeah.
who has one mobility skill.
Gemma
It's
Focus
beautiful
is
for him.
the secondary upgrade basically for
I can see Inbound
Yeah.
talking about Hebo passive, and yes, that's percent power increase, which is not the same as percent damage increase.
especially because it comes with percent protection as well. Percent movement
Yeah.
speed.
It's multiple percent damage increase is multiplicative with stuff like Cthulhu passive, which is already going to be a strong item because it's now got pen.
And I mean, percentage power is not affecting your flat values, whereas percent damage is affecting your flat values, so it's more anyways. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of Harbois, we can talk about Harbois a little bit. Did you guys see any Harbois?
I played him in the jungle. He's a little insane.
I got bopped in the face by his ult twice, and I was not happy because it one-shot me
Yep.
again. He
I think
one-shots
everybody's
even harder
complaining
now.
about Harbois.
Huh?
I've heard a lot of complaints about Harbois on the new
Yeah,
map.
yeah.
He just free rotates. He gets like the awkward thing about Harbois was that you always had to like power farm your way into the late game, and until you got 2-3 items online in the jungle, like you were just looking to farm, and then if somebody was fighting, you show up ult, and then you're on your way. And now there's just so much farm up. He can choose to ignore every fight, farm, and then just deletes everyone late game.
Yeah, and he's got items that allow him to fight early as well. Like if you play him in mid and you go Archmage's Gem, you can get a lot of burst very quickly. If you go jungle, you can abuse Bamba Sama with him, which I tried, which is not that easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, but if you get it going, if you have a team that can lock the enemies down for you, you can do so much damage with that. So yeah, I think he's one of the very interesting mages as well.
I like him in the jungle because it's so much harder to punish him now.
Yeah.
Right. Like you
can't have a one invade anymore. Like that's such a big difference already.
There's so much farm up. It's really hard to track like where those junglers are, right? Like if you don't have really, really, really good vision or an idea of what camps are up or down. So all of like the punishing moves that you would have on a Harbois, on the season 7 map, it's a little harder to track them down in the jungle when they're just kind of power farming around. In mid, it's easy, right? Like, are they in lane or not? If yes, gank, right? But in the jungle, I think he's going to be pretty potent.
Mm-hmm.
He's also one of the only people that I could possibly justify sacrificial shroud on.
Yeah, I saw that and it hurt.
The tongue twister.
It's so painful.
It's just it lowers your threshold that you need to one-shot people by so much.
Yeah. I got one shot by a Harbois just blink ulting me with Sacrificial Shroud in it. That's fun.
So that item is hella risky.
Yes. Yeah. And it's annoying
and
even with Harbois.
I don't agree with it in 99% of situations, but Hebo is probably the one person I feel is capable of pulling it off with a lifesteal build.
At the same time, he could also pull off the Gem of Focus, so...
Same thing, spammy mage within reason.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure...
Gives him the movement speed from Zoom Orb nerf.
I'm not quite sure if he's like S material or more A+ material.
I'd stick him A+.
One concern that I'd have, especially if you play him in jungle, in mid, is that mid is a lot more gankable now, and I think that hurts him because there's so many openings. So yeah, maybe A+ and then. But he could also.
I would say
A+ or move down to A based on. Yeah.
A+ if you have in the jungle, like B if you're in mid, if not lower.
Well, I wouldn't put him in B in mid. I think he's better than that right now. But we put him in A+, then we have like an overall, like, you know, idea of where he is.
Disclaimer. Play him in the jungle.
I think he's good in mid as well, but there was someone else that I was thinking of. Oh, right, yeah. Tell me your thoughts about King Arthur.
Bluestone go, bruh.
Yeah. God's nuts.
Okay. I have made a video talking about how you can counter that. It is possible, but it's also worth pointing out that while it's possible to counter it, it's something that you can't fully counter for your entire team. And it's still going to hurt, and it's still going to hurt in late game. And I think King Arthur is probably the strongest solo at the moment, with some exceptions, like in terms of matchups.
I think it's Arthur and Cu Chulainn right now are the two strongest solos.
Yeah. I mean, same concept anyways.
Yeah.
And they both use Bluestone really well.
Yeah.
No, Manikin on Cu Chulainn is the move because he doesn't need the mana sustain.
Oh, okay. I want to make a point of that.
It converts into extra HP 5, which again is the argument that it's not really worth that much. But it's that he can use it, not that he does.
Yeah, because like the point is, I've seen Manikin's Cu Chulainn, and the problem with Manikin's Cu Chulainn is, yes, you get that early counter to Bluestone, but if your opponent is not running Bluestone, then in my opinion, it's not that great. Because you have that damage reduction that doesn't really matter as much. You're still going to take a little bit longer to clear than with Bluestone most of the time because you're not proccing it from ability, so you're just proccing it on 1 minion at a time. And the biggest problem is that the upgrades are usually not as great for you. Like, one relies on heavily basic attacking, which you're not always going to do with Cu Chulainn in a team fight. The other one relies on, like it's a one-time extra damage effect that doesn't actually do that much. Flare, you can talk more about that if you want to.
What, the Bluestone interaction?
No, the secondary Manikin upgrade, Manikin hidden blade.
Oh, please, people, stop building Manikin's hidden dagger. It's not good. It will never be good until they get rid of the part that says taking damage unless it's from an enemy god. It is purely an engage item, and if you are ever on the back foot, you do not have a starter item upgrade.
Mm-hmm. And the amplification.
Wraith may have a different opinion, but I'm not a fan.
What's worth pointing out is that both upgrades also just amplify basic attacks, which like it doesn't do anything for late game abilities. Which I guess you can get away with it, but I don't think it's the ideal choice. So I think if you have a situation where you can choose, I would prefer Bluestone unless you're looking to counter someone with Bluestone like King Arthur. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think he counters a lot of the auto attack gods too, but it also helps him play really, really aggressively. That like level 1 through 5, which I think is just high value.
But I mean,
I guess late game.
You can do that with either, right?
What's that?
He can do that with either because his 2 constantly procs Bluestone as well.
It procs Bluestone on every pulse on his 2?
Not on every pulse, but like whenever you use it, basically. So like like any other item proc.
Yeah.
Somebody claimed, actually, I haven't tested it, but somebody claimed it refreshes during his Berserk form. So whenever it runs out, it procs again. But I don't know if that's true. I haven't tested myself.
Because you typically, I mean, I feel like, I don't know, because I typically find myself auto-attacking a lot when I'm playing Cu Chulainn, right? Like, I've seen solo builds where you're building, like, Ducky's meme build, which actually ended up working really, really well, was like ninja tabbing to Berserkers, right? Like, he ran that for a while because you build into rage form, and then once you transform, you just beat the hell out of them, right? It's like a race to transform on every wave. So I don't know that it doesn't have value.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't have value. I'm just saying if I have the choice and I'm running against an opponent that's not running Bluestone, I would prefer Bluestone over Manikin. But
I gotcha.
If I'm looking to counter someone, I'd obviously go Manikin, because like if it's Cu Chulainn versus King Arthur, I would always go Manikin just to counter the King Arthur's Bluestone. But
yeah,
you get the idea. Well, anyways, details. I would say they're probably both at least S tier. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think there's anywhere else for them to go, honestly.
Well, the question is if they are higher than S tier, if they're SS, but I don't think the S broken is set.
I don't think.
No,
like,
I don't think
they
they're
are the
broken.
two strongest in that role, but I don't think they're going to warp stuff around them like Set has the potential to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put them like towards the front of S with Merlin, but I think they're gonna be S. Yeah. Okay. Yemoja. Give me a thoughts on Yemoja. Without the Bumbers interaction that was broken on PTS.
Yeah,
No, that one.
I actually didn't see her as much as I expected to, but I don't know whether that was because people were just trying to try out random stuff like Sylvanas, which I'm sure will be brought up.
Yeah, I was gonna bring him up next. We get to him. Wraith, did you see Yemoja at all?
I did not. I think I played one game against her, and I think whoever was playing her wasn't good at her.
Right. Okay.
Because we just ruined her.
Okay. So. So what I think, right? The problem that Yemoja always faces is she's really good in competitive and really bad in everything else. Or maybe good in high ranked sometimes, but that's about it. I think that's gonna change. I think Yemoja is going to be better across all ranks, which is very interesting. For the same reason that Sylvanas is, being that you can rely less on your own skill, less on actually hitting everything, and more on stacking auras, like stacking the Sentinel's Embrace plus Lotus Crown plus whichever else you need in that game or whatever else you need. It doesn't even matter at that point. You have so much protection for your team at that point already, and that only works with healing supports, obviously, and especially Yemoja and Sylvanas stand out as the ones that can do that very frequently and very easily, and I think that makes them fairly strong.
Yeah, I agree. You're talking Lotus Crown, Sov Heartward, and then you just spam your 2 with the Sentinel's Embrace, and your carries get like 150 prots each, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like you at that point, you gotta wonder if you even want Thebes or not, because you just.
I've been talking to Bobby Inbound, who coincidentally is living in my house. For those of you who don't know, trying to find a team for next year, and he and I both kind of came to the conclusion when we were on the second PTS test weekend that we don't think Thieves is a good idea at all anymore. It just takes too long to get the procs online. You can't fight early, and he said he was trying out builds where it was like Greaves right into Sov, and that felt way better.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably a little different on Yemoja because she likes that cooldown, but in mana, but.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can I think there will always be people opting into Thebes just to make the passive choice and be more effective in later stages, I guess. But I definitely with Embrace, there's less of a reason to build it.
It's whether or not they want to give up the mid game when Thebes isn't going and Sov still gets HP 5 and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it also depends on what lane you're playing against, right? If you get a magical lane, you're obviously not going to do that. But I don't know. If you want to get hardwood, is another question entirely.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. The Sov decision always it typically centers around your mid 3v3, right? Whether or not, if you have a late game mage, Guardian who doesn't do a bunch of damage like Kepri, and then you got a Ratatasker, then yeah, you run the Sov.
The question is how much we will see those the mid area being focused, or how much supports will stay in lane more as well. You never know that until the season comes around, I think. But
yeah, I think they're gonna stay longer, but I still think you're gonna see them rotate because mid is just so overexposed.
Yeah, and there's so much game. There's so much things. There's so many things to secure on mid, but then there's also so many things to secure on duo now, right? You have 2 Scorpions, the Oracle, the other Harpy, and the Scorpion. So you have 5 things that are secureable by duo if you want to. So I don't know. It's a bit messy at the moment, but we'll find out.
It's a good example of PTS being unreliable data, and that the lane Scorpions in duo aren't scaling properly. They are pretty much level 1 for the entire time, so anything past 6 minutes, and they're way easier to kill than they should be.
Yeah.
I did notice that when I was playing. It's like 2
Yeah,
hours.
they're 360 plus 210, and they just stick at 570 health for the entirety of the game until they stop spawning.
And it's interesting because at the start, they're actually pretty hard to clear, especially on your own. So I don't know how hard they will scale, but they might actually be relatively hard to clear throughout the entirety of the game, really. I don't know. Find out. Have you looked at the numbers there?
I mean, it's gonna be 780 at 3 minutes. So they hit like 1,000 health by the time the hunt is about level 8. And at that point, they're barely only over 1,200.
Right.
Obviously, they hit.
Yeah, I don't think they hit that hard.
Obviously, they don't hit as hard as a hunter, but
Yeah.
like it's a slight inconvenience compared to it's a lazy ass.
Yeah.
Hit them down in 3 hits at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, well, back to the guards, Yemoja and Sylvanas. So I'm thinking Sylvanas, because it's the same reasons. I'm thinking Sylvanas maybe A+, because Sylvanas is generally still a riskier pick with lack of mobility and everything. And Yemoja, I'm kind of like torn because it hinges more on how well people play her than with Sylvanas. But yeah,
I mean, it just comes to the idea of this tier list being a general thing. Like, Yemoja is so hard to quantify because she goes from best to the best to
can
I have any other support depending on who's playing her.
Maybe we just put her in S and then.
I think it'd be fun to look back on this after like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah,
get
for
together
sure.
again.
For sure.
I have a feeling.
How wrong were we?
All right, but that's always the case.
Here's both of your titles. How wrong were we? Tier list 2, Electric Boogaloo.
But I mean, that's just what's gonna happen off PTS. Like, you can only quantify so much, you can only get so much of an idea. But there's still some guards where you know they are going to be up there. And like, I'm looking at the 4 highest placed ones right now, 5 highest placed ones where I'm sure they will be very good. They will exactly SS or S tier is another question, but above A somewhere. Anyways, Sylvanas A+. Any objections?
None.
No.
Okay, and Yemoja, we just generously put her in S and then regret that later?
Yes, absolutely.
Most likely.
Okay.
The problem is people are just really bad at playing Yemoja.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand it at this point anymore. But like, I'm by far not a good Yemoja player, but I feel like some people must struggle a lot more than I do.
It's so funny with Yemoja, and I noticed this. It's like you could tell if somebody's a newer Yemoja player because all they do is they just try and hit ones every team fight. Like, that's all they do. They're like, I gotta stun everybody. And then you can tell somebody who's a little bit more experienced because they just sit near one of their carries and they just whip their 2 at them in a team fight. And then you can tell a really good Yemoja because they're good at using their 3.
Yeah, I use it too, but I don't I don't touch the 3 in a team fight unless it's like very obvious, because it's like. It's so easy to mess up if you're not good at it.
Is that a ping thing though? Or,
well, yeah, true. No, I don't think it is.
Or a player doubt issue.
Yeah, no, I think it's not a ping thing, because even when I play on normal ping, I would still be very careful with the 3, because I'd just be like, okay, I want to push them back here, but there's a little bit of a gap to the side, and maybe they just walk past that gap, so I'm not going to risk it and just use my 1 instead and hope they get stunned. That kind of level, but yeah. Anyways, I had a character in mind right now. Naja. Did you guys see... not first phase Naja. Did you guys see Naja in the second phase?
I did. I think he's...
when he didn't heal for 1032.
Yes.
I think Naja is really strong, personally.
Okay. Elaborate.
Sustain. Really quick camp clear. Mobility. And then what I've noticed is people are playing a lot of high damage gods that like setup in the mid lane, like Scylla, a couple others. Ra was getting played a lot. Poseidon, obviously for the mobility. And I think Naja combos really, really well with them. I think he doesn't have to run Boombas or anything like that because, he could basically, he can run Bluestone if he wants and just power clear everything. But no, I think he's stronger than he was, but I still think he suffers from the same problems that he always has, which is you need a team to follow up on you. You are putting yourself massively out of position in basically every single team fight. And, your ult's really not enough to full one-shot somebody. So you better have some... They either need to already be poked out, or you better have some damage coming their way when they land, or you're going to get destroyed.
It's also a good pick from a draft standpoint, just because you can still flex him into other roles.
I have a bit of
I think some gods might kind of lose their multi-role utility in some case. Like, I don't have specific examples, but I feel like once I've played a few more games, there's some that aren't just going to be as ubiquitous in everything they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think Naja is going to suffer like the probably the Umoja problem. I call it the Umoja problem, right? Where we'll see him in comp and at high levels of play where like you really can count on your team being around you. And then people are going to take that over performance and apply it to their casual games and everything else. And I think we're going to see his popularity and win rate like just plummet off that.
I have
So I think
a counterpoint.
He's gonna do well, but I think he's gonna get crushed. Yeah,
I have a counterpoint. So what I've learned on PTS is so typically, right? Typically, Naja's combo, depending on how things go, is you either well, the basic combo is you go from your 3 into your ultimate, right? You sash someone and then you ult them afterwards.
Sure.
Sometimes when you're lucky, you can just ult them right away, depending on the situation, or you blink in and just ult.
Or your Australian ping.
You just ult and miss. That's what you do on Australian ping, but
Right through him.
But the point with the ult so far was that you can not really reliably beats it. So what you would do is if the enemy Naja blinks, you either beats then to pre-beats the ultimate, or if they sash you, you beats the sash and hope that they ult right after. That's typically the strategy you will see. And what's happening now is they've increased the delay on the ultimate so that you can actually beat the ult when the enemy Naja has ulted you. And I have seen this on PTS work, I think, in the same game when I was playing Naja in the first phase, actually. I've seen this work like 3 or 4 times in a row by the same player. So they always reliably beat the ultimate, which was not really possible most of the time before. And what that means is that Naja can no longer use his sash, his 3, to force people to use beats. He can't bait out the beats. Once they realize they can just beats the ultimate, they'll just take the sash and walk away. And then if you ult, they still have beats.
Then they drop their beads.
Yeah, and I think that really messes up Naja because it puts him in a lot of situations where he's gonna dash at someone with his ultimate, they beats, and he's now stuck in a really bad place and he can't do anything.
Right.
And I think that's going to have a massive impact on it. And I was talking about that in phase 1. The heal was obviously ridiculous. It almost healed him for full health. And I was like, well, I heal for a ton, but also if I go into a team fight and somebody beats this, I'm basically dead. So it kind of feels okay that my heal is insane because on the other hand, I instantly die. I still think that Naja is not going to be terrible. But based on that, I think... it's especially in competitive where people have the reaction time and the awareness to beat the ult reliably. I think that's going to be a big problem for him. I would hesitate to put him above A+, to be honest.
So I have a counterpoint.
Go on.
I think that with the way that the team fights are getting stretched out, I think he may be used more to separate tanks from the rest of the team and frontline from the rest of the team.
Okay, yeah. No,
Where,
I could see that. I could see that.
You know, think of like old school, like you ult the Kepri so he can't res their backline.
Yeah.
Things like that. I think that's where the majority of his team fight utility is going to come from, where it's just, and it kind of makes sense too if you think about it, because everybody and their mother is complaining on Twitter and everywhere else that the tanks just feel squishy as hell. If you could get a good setup on a,
disregard those.
I know. I mean, but if you can get a good setup on a tank, you know, with just how I have no other way of explaining it than just these team fights just get stretched really, really far, and the back line gets moved away from the front line really way more than in this season. You know, if you can isolate those tanks and then have somebody drive into the back line and then you just all pile on the tank when he comes down, I think that's where I would see Naja excelling. I don't think that old school style of play where you blink ult the back line and try and pick somebody off and force everybody withdrawal and everything like that. Oh my God, I'm sorry, guys.
Is the Q ready?
No. My bad.
All good.
Some random person I've never met in my life just invited me.
Popular small content creator.
Popular small content creator. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's A solidly. That's just me.
A? Okay.
I think A.
No, I'm completely done with A. I thought you guys wanted to place him higher. Yeah, A. Put him there. Good. You reminded me of someone else because of Najar, but I forgot who it was. Anyways.
Probably Circuit.
Oh, I haven't seen Saket at all. I have nothing to say about her.
Bobby was saying she's like the best support all over again.
Which build?
I don't know. I can ask.
All right, time to remove the true damage on Circuit Salt. It's going.
Probably the hybrid build where you could still.
Season 8 Olympians, you have my sword.
Okay, do you know anything about why Saket is the best support now?
I will message him right now, and we can move on.
We get back to Saket. That's interesting.
I will throw a little spanner in the works. Noir, Archmage's gem.
Oh god, I completely forgot about it.
The yellow number build is back.
It's so bad.
And with a vengeance.
It's not even just the ult as well. Like the ult's insane, right? You can half health all squishies with the ult from full health, but the burst combo of the 2/3. If you get hit by that with a full Archmage's gem, it's like, oh, that was my health. I played a set game where I was level 17, Noah was level 18, I think, and she used just the 2/3 combo and sent the one at me. And I had this was like around mid game, and I had said she didn't have Archmage's gem yet. She just had the first form, and I had Sledge online already, and she still almost instant killed me. If she had ult at that point, I would have died. Just from that combo.
Was that before the hotfix when she was doing double damage with her 3?
I don't think so. I don't know though. I didn't know that hotfix
was pretty
happened.
early on, wasn't it?
It was second. It was second phase, like day 2.
Oh, okay then that was probably after it, before it. That would explain a lot.
I don't even know if that got confirmed or not. By the way, it was just genetics tweeted it out that.
Yeah,
it was
I didn't
doing
hear
damage.
about it at all. So
It might. I mean, Shining Metal comes up as weird damage numbers on T screen, so I don't know. It might not have been.
Well, I don't know.
I didn't see it, so I can't confirm.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
either way,
it might have been a bug then. Okay, I take that back.
The yellow number damage is back, even with the Soul Reaver nerf. Tahuti passive is great on her in some cases because she can use her ult as a finisher as well as an engage. She kind of suffers still from the problem of like mid is quite gankable, and she doesn't have an active ability skill. Like she can stealth, but
honestly, I wouldn't even say that the gankable mid is so much of an issue by the time you get your ult, basically, because the Archmage's extra proc that you get while doing it, the whatever the tier 1 is, just is even more of a deterrent. Like, yeah, you can gank her easily, but I've seen a lot of situations on PTS where she just got out with her ultimate, survived long enough for someone else to appear in lane and actually turn the fight around. Like, it was very punishing at many times.
Yeah, we played against a couple of new ones, and it felt like, I mean, she feels like she does in season 7, right? Where she's kind of weak early, you can kind of catch her out a little bit, and then I think she's at S tier easily, just with the yellow numbers build and the fact that
I think a lot of it is.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go. I think a lot of it is contingent on Archmage gems balance. Though.
Yeah, definitely. If that gets a nerf, she goes down 100%. But
I think she goes down, but at the same time, I don't, right? Because like it's that instant global presence, right? It means less the smaller the map size, right? But at the same time, you know, I'm having 1,500 damage worth of impact on a dual lane gank, right? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like with like 3 items.
And the funny thing is, right? The funny thing is that the Spear of Desolation passive works for her as well. So if it doesn't work the first time, but somebody dies somewhere,
right? Yeah,
you get another one quite quickly.
Yeah, she's I played against, you know, it's always hard, especially with PTS, because it's like, okay, well, you know, am I playing against a bad Nuwa or am I playing against a good Nuwa? And I played against Hythe, and he obliterated my entire team.
No, I think I played against like I played against like 3 or 4 different people on Nuwa, and some of them were not good on other gods at least, or not as good, and they still did a ton. So I'm pretty sure it's more of a general thing.
Yeah, I think she's I think she's S easily. You know, I think she's up there with like Chernobog, with just how much of an impact she can have in places that she's not and how quickly that happens.
Yeah, I'm actually more scared of her than Chun.
I've put her
yeah.
ahead of Cherno.
Yeah, I just put her at the front of S. I think she's better than pretty much most of.
At this point.
I would say she's probably better than most of S, like most of the others. I don't think she's set SS level, but I think she's better than most of S. Like I think she's better than, for example, Arachne or Bakasura.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about S tier gods, there's another one that was at least until now referred to as S tier, and I don't think he's gonna move much. And that's Danzaburo.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, the gods busted.
The nerfs did touch the sides.
What did it touch?
They didn't touch the sides. The entire problem with him is not the entire problem, but some of his burst problem is just the ability to ult into someone with damage immunity and shotgun them. Even changing how much damage, the base damage on the one and the extra hits, still not going to fix the actual burst damage that the ult has as well.
Yeah. And I think on top of that,
has like 17 other things in his kit. I disagree with a lot of the comments that people are making about Danzaburo's taunt, because it takes 1.3 seconds to taunt from him throwing it. But it's still a very strong ability. I'm not going to disagree with that bit.
And the zoning, if you can cut off someone's path, is insane with it. Like if you just throw it behind them and then they have to either run into you or run into the flask in jungle. That's just disgusting.
Yeah, with those corridors and the way that things just happen in the jungle, I mean, just any kind of wide area control is going to have high value, especially with just how mobile he is. I think, it depends on how much of like the core frustrations with his kit get fixed, right? Like if you could see his health bar when he's in his ult, so you know he's coming at you. If you can hear the ult
I suggested that from day one and they didn't want to do it. It upsets me so much.
Clumsy had a reason for that. I can't remember.
No, they have a reason. I asked them. They want. I don't know how much I can. I don't want to disclose any things that I'm not sure if I can say that. But they have a reasonable reason. I can say that much. But I still disagreed with it because I think that he should have a health bar in his rocket, because it's so hard to see it in a team fight when he just ults from the back line and you just go through. And I experienced that on PTS already, and I was like, wow, this is not nice.
I'm hoping the changes to the sound effect do more than I think.
I played him after that. I didn't like. It's a difference, but it's not something where you suddenly like, wow, now it's super loud and it wasn't before. You still catch people off with it.
It's gone from silent to quiet.
No, I wouldn't even say quiet, but like Smite has so many sound effects and visual effects happening at the same time that
it's really hard to keep track of.
Yeah, I always struggled with that, but I think especially I don't think you can expect most Smite players who have music or voice in the background to rely on sound play. It's just not how. Mm-hmm. Like what you'd have to do with Danzaburo's rocket is you put a health bar on top of it, and when he's in it, you make it blink red every time, like every second or so. So it's like really obvious he's coming with this thing, and then you can talk about like visual clarity, and then you can talk about audio clarity maybe. But till that happens, I think it's a stealth ult. I'm not quite sure if he's more like S material or SS material, but I leave that up to you.
I think he's S only because I think by the time that this video goes out, people get their hands on Season 8 and bonus balance comes around, he's going to get hit with another round of nerfs. I have no confirmation on that, but I think it's just going to happen.
Okay. I like that. We put him on S based on nerfs that haven't happened.
We're putting it on S for speculation.
His entire tier list is speculative.
Yeah, well, might as well increase that part.
I got a fun one.
Yeah.
Giannis.
Okay. I have something to say, but if you guys have something to say, go on. I'll tell you after.
I have affectionately named the blob. Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a blob.
It is a blob. I think his lower rank viability comes up slightly. Mm-hmm. I think people are overestimating his mobility and his ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are still going to be bad at hitting everything in his kit.
Disagree. I think you can't miss the 2 anymore. It's like you're not gonna.
Well, yeah. I mean, most people miss the ult in team fights. Unless
Oh yeah, they
it's
still
just
will.
like a
They still
straight
miss that. Don't worry.
shot. And most people are really terrible at using the one to reposition themselves in team fights. To begin with, I think if you had asked me before the changes to him, he would be in the bottom, the absolute bottom. Unless you are a really, really, really good Giannis player. I think he moves up maybe to B.
Flair, anything to add?
I agree with you on the comment about being exactly at the bottom beforehand, because there was just no reason to pick him. Like, sure, he has the whole concept of mobility, but people also need to know how to use that mobility, and I don't think enough people played with good Giannis's to be able to do that properly. I think at a very best, in a meta where everybody else is also suddenly nerfed, then he's like an A, but otherwise I'd rather put him like mid-low B.
So what I want to add is that half of his changes didn't actually go through because the whole portal thing, they had to revert that. We'll fix that in the next patch because it affects himself as well at the moment. So if you self-banish, you can still get hit by everything, which makes that part of his kit completely useless. So they reverted
They reverted that.
Yeah, they reverted entirely.
Yeah. So they reverted it, and then it's eventually going to be changed to only if an enemy is falling through the pool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the self-banish is the old duking skill.
Yeah, and what I think is in his favor, along with the change to the 2, obviously, is that he gets a few new items that work well for him. Again, global ult with Spear of Desolation is very nice. Archmage's Gem is very nice. So there are a few options for him there. I think B tier is still appropriate, though. I saw quite a few Janos picks on PTS, and typically they were not exactly dominating. I think that when the change is through to his 1, the secondary change next patch, then maybe he might move up to A, but also just a maybe. I don't think he's nearly as strong as it initially seemed, at least based on the changes.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest with you. If you're using your portal as a damage tool, there's either nobody else on the map around you except the person you're trying to kill, or you have an extreme advantage in numbers. Like that utility change on the 1, for me anyway, just, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just I don't think it's going to have that big of an impact as people think, right? Like, I personally, when I play Giannis, like, I almost never use that ability aggressively. I hold it for self peel, and occasionally if we get a pick or a man advantage, I'll use it to cut off somebody's escape. But like, you're almost never using it like that, especially with how dive heavy everybody's team comps are right now. You almost have to hold that. So I question, the 2 change is obviously good because people aren't going to get out cleared because their support came out of the jungle and now all of a sudden you're stuck under your tower anymore. But I think the 1 change is going to have minimal impact, if anything.
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because I think part of the reason why the change to the 1 was made was so that it's easier to confirm the 2 off the 1, obviously. But that doesn't really make sense anymore because now the 2 itself is super easy to confirm anyway, so you don't need the 1 anymore to set it up and reliably confirm it. So half of the idea kind of goes out of the window of that change anyways, but hey.
Yeah, I think it was more of a consistency thing, right? Because with every other banish, you're targetable before you hit the ground.
Yeah, but
right?
they specifically said they did it for the 1-2 combo, so that doesn't need it anymore. Anyways, B tier. I'm kind of getting to the point where I think, like, I don't have that many more gods, but I think are necessarily very high tier, like very much stood out to me as strong on PTS.
I have a whole buttload of junglers if you want me to talk through them.
Sure,
I can be quick.
Yeah, go on.
Thor, A tier, middle of the pack. He's still good. Ulting from up above is, until they change the foliage, which I don't know if they will or not, but we suggested it.
Yeah, actually, that I think that makes him a little bit better. But actually, at the same time, we have Thanatos and A+. So yeah, Thor A is fine. Yep.
Yeah, so I Thor A. Mercury, I think, is an A+ character. Mobility, just the way that these team fights end up working out, and I think I think he's going to be particularly
what
good.
starter did you run with him? Because he can kind of do Bumba's tier 2 boot start now, or he can do
I did
Manikin.
Bumba's tier 2 boots.
Okay. I want to see how Manikin is on him based on the fact that he's more of a bursty character, and Manikin is kind of not assisting that directly, but can supplement it. Like, you know, if someone gets away, they can die from the dot. But I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I did not try that. I tried Bluestone tier 2 boots, which I think is just insanely strong.
Wait, you can get Bluestone in tier 2 boots?
No, not Bluestone. Sorry, Bumba's tier 2 boots. Sorry. Yeah.
Wait, Bluestone Mercury? What shot is that?
My brain is fried.
And it does work on his one.
Pele, I had an A+ just because if you know you're not going to be fighting, you can use her heat to move around the map really effectively.
Yep.
And you kind of power farm yourself into like a 2-level lead. Daji, I think, is going to be one of the stronger characters, but I
really,
I really do.
Okay, explain. I preemptively disagree.
I have no other explanation for this other than she just felt really good to play. It's easy to pick off mid laners. It's easy to chase. It's easy, again, with how stretched out these team fights get. It's easy to get into the back line, dive onto the carries, ult, spread them out even further, and just have this like crazy disruption. Like, it's in season 7, she can get into the back line. Everybody kind of has to scatter a little bit, but in season 8, it's like you could just push tanks away from their carries so much with her. And her utility in team fights has gone up, right? You could pull a tank away from their team. You can dive into the back line and one-shot somebody if you go the Bombas Hydras build. I really think she's going to be very, very, very good. But again.
No, I'm thinking right now. So I know that there was a lot of conversation, obviously, about Boombuster G because of the reset. And I tried it, not in a game, but in jungle practice. And I had to notice that the reduction that you get, because you're not usually using your 1 first, unless you blink 1, is often not that significant. Like what you usually get with her is you get an additional 1, but you don't get an additional 2 or an additional 3. And by the time you get the additional 1, the enemy, if they have any mobility or anything else, is probably away or dead. But what I haven't tried and what would be interesting is if she can run Manikin's build, because she actually gets a lot of procs on that very quickly when she's fighting someone.
Right. So
I could see a case being made there. But I feel like as much as you're talking about like team fight strategies, I feel like the overall jungle meta that's very clear heavy doesn't necessarily favor her that much. I find her early game clear, especially, to be somewhat obnoxious. I mean, they buffed it not too long ago. They fixed it a little bit, but compared to many others, I think it's holding it back.
We were getting that change in July 2019.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I remember Daji came up in the balance meeting we had at the summit in 2019. Yeah. It's fine to talk about this.
Can we talk about it? Are we allowed to?
But I mean, Ajax can shoot me if he likes. But
we had asked.
Daji was like one of the big topics that came up when we asked about balance, mainly around her too. But
right.
Yeah.
The fruits of labor there were discovered in season 7.
It took a while.
Yeah, we talked about Daji.
It was finding the right time for it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of different options that they had for it.
Right, but the level 1 value was always super awkward compared to the level 2 value. So it's literally like put 2 points in this ability and then forget about it.
Yep, pretty much. I'm gonna disagree with you on the Bombas hammer. Just the non-blink engage on her is right. You 3 auto, 1 auto, and then alt to disperse. And then if anybody uses their movement ability, it's basically the exact range you need to use to hit a chain. So while you're on your way up, you just point the direction they're facing. So if you can grab them, come back down and kill them.
Yeah, but if you do the 3 auto, that's the problem. If you do the 3 auto, 1 auto, which is ideal, right? Then you don't get the reset for Bombas from the 3 for the 1. That's the problem. That you're losing a reset. And that reset is pretty crucial when it comes to an ability on a short cooldown that you want to reset as quickly as possible. That's why I don't like it. Compared to somebody else that we haven't talked about that basically insta resets.
Yes.
So I don't know. Where would you place her based on that?
I was gonna put her AA plus, but that's just
Okay. I put her A because I feel like I don't think she's worse than that, but I also don't think she's really better.
That is purely gut feeling. I will say the other thing is that look at how many non-CC immune characters are above that.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. But then, like, I'd still rather have a Thanatos jungle than a Daji jungle in the next season. That's what I'm saying. Or
for sure.
Or Habwa especially.
Even of the CC immune ones, look at what they have to burn in order to get that CC immunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Danza's kind of a good one, like forcing him into the rocket.
Yeah, but then he's still gonna hit someone.
Obviously, he's still Danza, and he's gonna rocket into your face or run away. Yeah. But I mean, if you're forcing the rocket out like that, it's
not the worst thing. Yeah.
Like unoptimal situation for him.
I wanted to talk about Tsukuyomi because we were speaking about junglers and Bumba's Hammer. Tsukuyomi can basically instantly reset his one over and over with a little bit of CDR and Bumba's Hammer.
Yep.
I kind of forgot to talk about him. I think he's actually S tier as well.
Doesn't Bumba's Hammer have 20% cooldown reduction on it?
One after the other?
Does Bumba... Am I wrong?
What?
I didn't do enough... doesn't Bumba's Hammer have 20% cooldown reduction on it?
Yes.
Or is it 10?
20.
Yeah, it does.
20.
Which is awkward, like super awkward. But...
So you build Bumbas and then your choice of Hydras and Erendite or Jotuns or whatever you want, and you have full CDR and you just hit people for a lot of damage very frequently. That's all he does.
Yeah, Bumba's Hammer is such a weird assassin's item too, because there's no assassin out there. Oh, hold on, I'm losing my internet connection here. Bobby's got to be downloading something.
He's downloading
Bobby,
that.
Stop watching.
Demonetized.
So this is why he had. This is why he has the ad block, Wraith.
Yeah, right. I think we're good. No, because in any god that you're gonna run Bumba's Hammer, like you want that 40% CDR early anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Like it's almost like once you finish the Bumba's Hammer, then you trade your Jotuns out.
Yeah.
That's it.
Where would you put him, Wraith? You wanted to say something.
Who? Tsukuyomi?
Yeah.
Oh, S easily.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We're all in agreement.
Oh yeah. No argument here.
Okay.
He's still as strong as he was in 7.
Yeah.
If not stronger.
Have you guys seen Fenrir? With his buff?
Once.
I saw people trying to test him out as a joke. I don't think I saw anything interesting out of him.
Okay. I have some Fenrir experience. I've tried it myself, but unfortunately that game was one of the bad servers. Which meant that playing Fenrir on bad servers didn't go so well because you couldn't really stun people or hit your brutalize or anything at all. So that didn't really go well, but I saw someone else or 2 other people playing Fenrir very successfully. Both of them, like I think it was like a 14-2 when Brain played him, and then Solan went like 5-0 at the start of the game and then kind of got countered by us as a team. But both of them, I think, not jungle mains actually, did very well on Fenrir jungle. And I think a big part of that is the fact that you can get 2 runes with activating the 2 now, which means you can get your stun very reliably for engages if you just have some runes up. And I think that makes him a lot more interesting, along with some other damage buffs that he got as well. And Bumba's Hammer is something that you can obviously use on him too. I don't know how well he works with the other starter items, because I think everyone just ran Bumba's. I'm trying to think. I don't think the others really.
So where'd you put him, Duke? A+?
Yeah, I think that's about where I'd put him. Yeah. I don't know if he's gonna stay there. He could easily go down again, but like around that area. Okay, Wraith, do you have any more junglers that you have tried that you had in mind?
Well.
Oh no. It's gonna be Kuzenbo.
I did try Kuzenbo jungle.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
No, I mean, I can run through the ones I played fast. Ao Kuang is... I don't know. I'd put him in S, but that's just me.
S?
He's kind of got the...
Wait, what do you run?
On him?
Yeah,
I ran a do more power build.
Okay.
You go do more boots, Deso. Did I do Soul Gem, Soul Reaver? Just basically like the old one-shot build, right? Instead of the auto attack build.
Yeah.
Is this ignoring the animosity cheese?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
There is no way that is making it past 8-2.
No. Let's not talk about that.
This is the thing with Kwang is that like he's got the same, I don't say issue because it's not really an issue, but he's got the same thing going for him that Habwa does, which is you could just farm. Like you just farm, you buy a blink. If somebody's low, you go to their lane, you blink them, you ult them, and then you go back to farming. And then it gets late game. You are 3 levels ahead of the enemy jungler, and you just explode everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think he's an S, but
would you have any objections to A+? Because what I'm thinking is the problem with our Kwang is he is a very pub stumpy god that actually has not been performing statistically well for a very long time, but just works very well, on PTS and scenarios like that. And I feel like he's not quite like as easily clear-cut S material, but at the same time, I have not played him with an ability-based build, so I can't judge that in comparison. So I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, the ability-based build is a lot of fun, by the way.
I'll try it now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good time. I also ran this like hybrid, do more plus Typhons and rings build, which is kind of fun too. It sounds a little gross, but you basically get the movement speed off of Doomorb, which he needs to kind of run targets down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into like boots, Typhons, demonic telekines, right? And then you just power auto people to the ground, and that one's fun too. So you can try both of those, but
yeah, I mean that's more like a standard build, anyways.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting thing that the Doomorb nerf doesn't seem to have done much to him at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was only a little bit of movement speed that was taken off, but I was expecting it to have a bigger impact on some mages than it did.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't even remember what they nerfed.
Okay.
They dropped a stack of the movement speed and like shifted the power around, so it was roughly the same. It's slightly less power, but like a quarter less movement speed.
Okay.
And they dropped the actual stats on the item as well, I think.
Flair, I'll let you be the deciding factor. Our Kwang S or A+?
I would stick him A+, honestly.
Okay.
If we're talking animosity cheese, then
yeah,
it's
no,
a different thing. But it's not staying.
Yeah.
Like
no way.
I don't think you have to be a genius to work out that that's not going to be a thing.
I think at least they're going to cut down the double structure damage, and then it's already a different story. So.
Then there's just another Telcoins.
Yeah.
But with a starter sacrifice at the start.
Yeah. Okay.
Erlong.
Oh yeah.
S-ish.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like back of S, maybe top of A+.
I was top of A+ based on how I dealt with him.
I can honestly see either here. Like the thing is that what I think makes him very nice is that he can flex everything right now. Basically, he can flex the support. You can do like a wall flag Erlang if you want to. You can do a jungle Erlang. Obviously, you can do solo Erlang with Manikin. So there's a lot of flexibility, but at the same time, I also see the argument that he doesn't stand out as much as the S tier guards in any of those roles. To me personally.
Wall flag was another interesting item for me. Like, everyone who was trying to run it was obviously running hyper aggressive supports.
Mm-hmm.
I had I can't even remember who the support was on. I think it was actually Erlang Izanami lane, and we literally rolled their faces across because it was Erlang with War Flag and I was Izanami.
Wait,
there was no wave.
Was that in my game?
No. It was a different game, but like they just died. They had no wave. I had full health and attack speed and mana. I didn't even have to buy Death Stall because which gets into the discussion about Gilded Arrow versus Death Stall, which I think has changed since Phase 1 versus Phase 2.
Yeah, everybody's building Gilded Arrow.
That's a whole different kind of worms, honestly, because of the upgrades of Gilded Arrow. Let's not open that up today because it's a very
too much time.
We'll be here all night.
Yeah. Just building the third starter just to not have that conversation.
Yeah.
I was definitely building Leather Cowl in the first phase of PTS.
Oh yeah, go away.
I have 2
Leave
left.
me alone. Wait, wait.
I can be quick about them.
Erlang. I'm gonna put him at the beginning of A+ here, but with a strong tendency to potentially go up. That's all good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Wraith, go on.
I can be quick about these next 2. I know I have been dominating the assassin discussion.
All good. All
Look
good.
at the tier list. But so Ravana, I think, is at the top of A+. I don't think much has changed since last season.
Bamba's Hammer is very nice on him. Very, very nice. You can even go very bruiser with him. That's really cool. But definitely A+. But I'm just saying it's really fun. I really like that one. I think he's one of the guards that uses Bamba's Hammer like it's supposed to be used.
Yep.
Like he doesn't break it, but he's very good with it.
I agree. And then the second god, and I'll probably get some hate for this, is Susano. And I think Susano's an S god.
I mean, you're not getting hate, but you're getting a question mark from me.
I'm not gonna hate, but I don't agree.
Yeah.
Bonkers with upgraded Bumba's hammer. Because he's just so slippery as it is, and then the cooldown reduction and everything else, or the ability cooldown reduction.
Well, he can reduce the 3 very easily with that, right? Does that work? Does he just teleport on a target, and then use the Bambas, and then it's basically a 3 up again?
Yeah, it's basically, yes, exactly. It's because when you teleport on a target, it's like an 8-second cooldown base plus 40% cooldown plus Bumbos. And it's just like, so if you can use it to engage, and then if they leap or try and go anywhere, you just use it again.
Yeah, no,
I
actually
run people down with it.
I actually can see that. Yeah, and also you can combine
nasty.
Hydra's which he
Bombas.
already uses well with the Bambas combo because you're doing this attack cancel like all the time.
Yep. I played 1 game of Susano and I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Susano before this patch was no one.
Bottom 10.
Right? Bottom,
yeah, he was like,
absolute bottom. So I don't want to be like completely overzealous and put him into S purely based on that. Because like if I look at the other S tier guards, which we have a pretty packed S tier to be honest, I would think every one of the junglers in there would outperform him in most situations, in at least in a non-competitive setting. That's why I would like not put him in S, but I'm down to put him in A+. I'm down to put him in A+, which is a huge leap for him already from basically B or C tier.
I'm down for A+.
I will concede to B. Mostly because it's anecdotal personal experience. I don't know how sweaty the lobby I was in. But I will tell you he feels better to play as somebody who has played a lot of Susano.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the thing where how many games you've played on some gods and PTS comes into it. It's like if you get those 1 or 2 games where everything flows beautifully, it can in a way kind of mislead how it's gonna be.
The problem is that with the time
you can also have the other way around where you have 2 really bad games. You think, oh god,
with the time that
never gonna be played, and then it turns out they're actually S tier.
With the time that PTS was up, it's like not like you're gonna have much more than 2 games on most cards he played anyways, because it was just 2 weekends. It's not like it used to be, like when it used to be like 2 to 3 weeks or something. So I just put him
We'll see in a couple of weeks. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe
I'll put him at the front of A+ here, and Wraith can tell us that he told us so. If it doesn't happen, if he goes into S.
Wait, you put him at A?
A+.
Oh, okay. I like you guys. All right. I thought, hey, I thought I was.
No, I said he was B before. Not that he's B now. He was B before, like before this patch, because there was no reason to play him. But now I definitely see a lot more reason to play him than before.
My kind of underrated pick, mainly because of a twisted sense of mobility, is Poseidon. I think.
God, yeah.
Oh, he's so good.
I think
Yeah.
he's so good now. He's even
so
and
good
they even predicted it with the nerf to
Yeah,
his
yeah,
passive.
yeah.
But he's a great follow-up to a lot of the setup cards that are going around and pretty high tier. You mentioned Socket previously. She kind of sets up for Kraken if you're really good with her. Naja, some other gods. He's just inherently fast. He's gonna get around. He clears well.
Mm-hmm.
It's fairly hard to gank him for someone who doesn't have a dash.
It's
Like,
also
you can
interesting
just
because of
cripple, throw a Kraken down on yourself. It's still gonna hurt you.
yeah, because of how Archmage's gem works, right? That it procs on everyone. If you get a Kraken in a team fight where you hit multiple people, you can reliably confirm a lot of damage, assuming you didn't hit them with the 3 first, of course, which can happen. But either way, it's a lot of damage.
I have 2 quick hunter points as well.
Wait,
Where
are we putting Poseidon though?
I'd say A plus.
Yeah, I would say A plus.
Minimum.
Minimum.
My 2 quick. I think the final ones that I actually have any experience on. It has to be Ram and Hachiman. The changes to their ult, which whilst I agree with the Ram one purely because I think Ram's dash coming out of his ult is bullshit for lack of a better term. The Hachi one definitely does hurt both of them. So when they're coming out of their ults, they used to be able to effectively use the dash abilities before they even came out of it. So it would just be instant. So you'd have like 1 frame to try and get them.
Yeah.
And you just they right clicked and dashed and you never knew when they were coming. So the fact they can't do that now is definitely it's going to be easier to hatch them out.
Mm-hmm.
And hatch you can't use it as an offensive option as easily.
Yeah.
It's a logical change, but it does hurt them regardless.
Have you played them on normal ping? Just to
yeah
okay.
Yeah, the PTS did have a U service.
Oh yeah, right.
I did get caught out by what was it? I think it was a Scylla Crush. Someone left it out, and if I was on Season 7 patch, I literally would have been able to dash out of it, but instead I died.
Okay, where does it leave them? Like where?
I think Rob's still a good hunter. I'd still have him in A. It's one of those things where it knocks him down a peg.
Yeah, but Hachiman especially
he's
as well.
been strong the most of the year, and he got nerfs to compensate for it.
Mm-hmm.
Hachiman's probably A, B, depending on how people see it.
Yeah, that's what I'm not sure about.
Like, how you feel?
I don't know. Does he use any particular new item well or something that would give him an edge for A?
Also, Rom has to deal with the fact that the new hunter meta goes back.
Rama? So you broke up on Discord.
Ram's new item builds, they also hurt his ult damage because we're back to an Xe meta.
Right.
You're not just randomly building 40% pen through 3 different items.
True.
And Ram got a environment nerf. It is 10 times harder to hit his ult now.
Oh yeah. That actually, I didn't even think of that. Huh. Let's see if he stays in A.
It's A with potential to go down into B.
Mm-hmm.
I think is one of the bigger changes on this.
Mm-hmm.
That I noticed. One to look out, in my opinion, is Kronos because.
Hang on. What are we doing? What are we doing with Hachiman?
Hachi, I'd leave in A or B.
Yeah, maybe like a.
I think
same as Ram, basically.
I think it depends on how the item
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. Okay, give me Kronos.
Kronos, the attack speed buff is not E. He literally gets like an extra 0.15 attacks a second, which is huge because it means he can effectively like lose an attack speed item and build into another power one.
Mm-hmm. A plus. Is that
A with potential to go to A plus.
Okay, I think he's definitely very good. I've seen some Kronos on PTS, both in middle and in ADC, and he did well everywhere. Was in the hands of a good player, which makes it a bit harder to judge. But I would think
it also means he had the like really rough part of him is like the level 7 to 11, where he hasn't got any attack speed online yet.
Mm-hmm.
His 2 is like assuming you're leveling your 1 and your 3, and you're probably skipping points from your ult. You're still gonna have like 15% attack speed from your 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like the slowest point you're ever going to be. But having that extra base scaling looks really sweet.
Okay.
I think it's easy to look at this list and say it's really top heavy, but it's only because we're trying to pick out the gods that have obviously seen the
we've
biggest
only done the top, so
there's no
Yeah.
point in saying, oh, all right, Achilles, he is a B again. Agni, he is an A again.
Yeah, Ares is garbage. Sorry.
Completely hypothetical. Oh, Arposh is still D and needs a rework.
yeah, we
Zeus
get
is
to that.
Amaterasu is still bonkers. Anhur is still good. Anubis is still a pub stomper. Yada yada. It's just trying to get things that were more impactful into what people are looking to play. Because the rest of them is going to be like, do you want to play it?
We get to the rest. We get to the rest if we've even seen them.
Yeah.
Did you have any other ones right now, Flair?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, Wraith, you look like you still have a jungler that you want to talk about.
God, who's left?
Hunbats.
Nemesis.
Right,
Probably all the
Rats.
crap I don't play. I didn't get an M game in. I didn't get a Bats
Rat.
game in. No, I hate Rat. I suck at Rat so much. Don't even get me started.
Which one of those came first, hating or sucking?
Oh God.
Okay, wait. I
You know what
can
to be
quickly
asked
say something about some of them. Hunbats I haven't played, but I also don't see any particular reason to put him particularly high or low. I think he's just average right now. There's no item change that so far that I can think of that really affects him much. I'm just gonna go through a few, and if you disagree, just yell. Nemesis, I've played a bit. I think Nemesis is strong. I think she works very well with the new items. I think she's like a solid A+ contender, like Raven-ish level. Yeah, just does well with the new items, but it's not stupid insane from what I've seen so far. What other junglers are there? Who am I not seeing?
Willish.
I haven't played her. I actually couldn't be bothered because a Willish on ping is just something that my muscle memory cannot handle.
Wheelish did get that like quality of life change with regards to cancelling her wand. So
Wait, what did you get?
she might
You actually get an auto attack animation now.
Well, so it doesn't
it's
actually.
not just that. It's
that's a nerf.
like it getting cancelled by CC is consistent now. It's
Oh.
like it's a buff that it doesn't get cancelled where it shouldn't.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. That. I mean, I think it's
Which
nice.
which might be more impactful for you on ping. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, this shouldn't have been cancelled, but it did.
Yeah. I think it's nice, and some people have said that she works very well with the Bumba's hammer, but I haven't tested it. I've tested it in jungle practice, and it didn't stand out to me because you're like, I don't know, you're not necessarily using your kit in an order that makes Bumba's hammer beneficial, different from someone like Raven, where you just slap everything in their face and just throw basics in between. The Willish, it's a lot more nuanced, and she can't really use her one for that either, so I don't see her being a top contender for that.
Jingwei got part nerfed because of the change to the fountain.
Yeah.
Plus
Hang on.
map size means
So I think
she doesn't
hang on.
get
Slow
the
it down, Flare.
Slow down. I'm gonna put a Willish in an A first. I think that's.
And you had Bats in B, right? I'm just trying to follow along.
I haven't put bats anyway yet.
Oh,
no, wait, no, I've put bats in A. Never mind, not in B. Definitely not in
Okay.
B. No, he's solid. He's not bad. He's just A. Do you want to talk about Jingwei? Okay, go on.
It's kind of a quick one. Sure, it's kind of going back into a correct meta, but at the same time, she loses the effectiveness of the change to the fountain because she's in her passive, and the map's got bigger, so it's less travel
Yeah, it's
distance.
less effective. You're
True,
traveling
yeah.
less
Because
percent of
the
map
others are
with
getting
her
faster,
passive.
and you've effectively got slower
Yeah.
because you're traveling the same amount in no extra
Which means
time.
you can't as easily just push up a wave and go back as well, I suppose, because you might just be late.
Yep.
And there's more stuff to do on your side of the jungle. You've got like potential for scorpions and stuff.
Yeah, and I think honestly, I think dual lane will rely pretty heavily on early pressure because of all the objectives that are there, and she's not exactly an early pressure god. I would honestly, I mean, I would put her in A for now. I kind of regret not making an A minus. I think she would be an A minus case, but I don't know. Any vibes from you guys?
Soul's still dumpster
That's exactly
tier.
where I was gonna put her.
Yeah.
Soul is still dumpster tier in my opinion. 10% scaling doesn't fix our problems.
Yeah,
I have
haven't-
Soul Zeus Nopwatch down there.
So
Yep.
B tier. Or
Oh no,
I-
dumpster like Wraithyn's
Wraithyn's
tier.
God Pool tear.
with
Terrible.
that bad?
Yes.
Okay, wait, hold on. Who did you just put
There is no reason to pick Sol over any other magical ADC.
I put
The
Zeus.
idea that you use, oh, she's a tower pusher. Yeah, but I'd just pick a physical ADC for that. Zeus is Zeus. Even if he does damage, he's still a mess. And Outposh is...
Okay, slow down. So with Sol, I can see the point. I don't know if she's dumpster tier, though. I feel like maybe as like a mage ADC, she might have some purpose. But Zeus, even though he's still Zeus, also benefits a fair bit from Archmage's Gem and can proc that at a pretty long range compared to many others. So, I don't know.
I don't know. I played 2 Zeus games and
Didn't feel
you're
good.
just so vulnerable in the mid lane.
All right, we're putting it in.
Literally,
We're putting it in
Zeus
your,
literally gets picked off like a fly.
we're putting it in your god pool
you-
because you've played him. All right.
And the thing about Zeus is that like so there's so much farm around the middle of the map too that if you're the enemy mid laner and you're playing against a Zeus, right? And we were on the season 7 map and your lefts are down, your rights are down, your red buff's down. It's kind of like, okay, I'm just going to clear this wave, get pressure, and then try and go for a left or right objective, right? Like pyro or gold, or maybe I'm just going to back to base. In the season 7 map or season 8 map, there is so much that you could be doing, avoiding the mid lane entirely, that there's no reason that you would just push waves into the tower and let the Zeus farm for free.
True.
Like you literally could just stall the wave in the middle of the map and you will still build a lead on him just by hanging out with your jungler and then going into the jungle to pick something off, you know, get a left camp, get a right camp, get a back camp, get a red camp. Like there's just so much more that you can be doing.
Mhm.
And the second he steps up to clear, he just gets piled.
True.
If you try and clear from the middle of the wave as a Zeus, or like exactly where the waves meet as a Zeus, you're just going to get obliterated over and over and over again. And somebody I was playing with was playing Zeus and got rat-ulted off cooldown. Like the second he stepped up to clear, it was over. And that was it.
Mhm.
It's part of the reason I think Guardians are going to be spending more time literally on top of their mages this year. But I think I don't know.
We put him in your god pool.
Mid lane is. Sorry, go ahead.
We put him down there. I don't think we need to spend too much time on him. So
Yeah.
you guys want Sol down there as well, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So why Ragin? Because Ragin got a bunch of buffs, right? I have only played him with Vamp Shot, which is not the item you want to build on him, so I can't really judge him.
Oh, I thought Raijin was good. I played Raijin and he seemed great.
Then you guys fight that out because I have no opinion either way.
I played 2 Raijin games. I don't think we said Raijin. Oh, I said Upwatch down in the.
Oh
yeah, our Bosch can stay down.
Oh
there.
yeah, I mean, Aposh, did he even get any changes? I mean, maybe
Mana cost
there's
reduction?
something stupid you can do with like the Vamp Shot upgrade, but I'm not gonna bet on that.
And in the team fights, everything, there's almost no team fights in open spaces anymore. It's all in the jungle, and then you go take objectives in the lanes.
Yeah.
Like every single game I played, the game ended due to a jungle fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe a Phoenix defense here or there, but it was like 80-20.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's impossible to get your damage off on Plush because the second you step around a corner to fire your stuff, you just get blown apart.
Yeah. Tell us more about Raging though. What did you see? What did you see?
Oh, A plus easily. He slaps now. He does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the exact changes were, but he felt somebody was just. I didn't.
You got a lot.
Like
I think he got like 3 or something.
Yeah, but I played. Somebody was like, "Oh, they changed a whole bunch on Raijin." I played a game of him, and he does so well. He does a ton of damage. He like feels good to play. You can use all of his abilities through wall. So in these team fights, you can kind of obscure yourself.
Raijin was a second off the 1, 2 seconds off the 2, and 10% scaling on both hits of the 3.
It's pretty good
Yeah,
overall.
so it's like rewarding to play him aggressively in the mid lane, which, by the way, is an understated point because there's a lot of times where somebody makes a full rotation to solo or duo, it's just you and the enemy mid laner, and Raijin will win that 1v1 every single time.
Yeah.
If you get your 2 on them and leap on them, it's over because they're going to.
And the lower his cooldowns are, the more impactful his passive is because flat cooldown is
right,
a
yeah.
bigger percentage.
Didn't
He
even think of
rotates
that.
like he goes through another rotation of abilities even faster.
Oh god.
Yep.
He might be really scary, huh?
Yeah, I had him like top end to A plus.
Yeah,
and
I
the only
moving
reason
up
I'm
at
not
A+,
putting him in
yeah.
S is because we've kind of overloaded that category.
Yeah, I would have to see more
Yeah,
of
I
him.
agree.
I haven't seen enough of him to put him in S as well, but definitely A+ top end is definitely.
I would throw Thoth there too in A+.
Really?
He's just so
My boy.
safe to clear in the mid lane, and then late game with that Archmage's gem, and you can you just have so much range, and you can play so far back, and then you just yeet your ult through the team fight in the jungle. I played a couple
Thing
of
is,
Thoth games.
he's got two different options because he can do Archmage's Dem and just constantly get like an extra 10% scaling on his hits.
Yep.
Or he can go Gem of Focus and then suddenly he's doing 10% more damage with everything.
I wonder what
Yeah.
Flare's favorite new
because
item
he's
is.
just spammed 7 different abilities, throwing his 1 out and his 3. Because as far as I'm aware, his 3 still counts as casting an ability that costs mana.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, why would it not?
Just because it doesn't apply on hits. So, but the
Right.
on hits would be coming from whatever else you hit them with.
Flare,
Like
have you played him on PTS as well?
He was actually one of the ones I didn't get to try out, which was annoying,
Oh,
given
look at
my
that.
affinity for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a lot of PTS.
I'm a bit
I don't think you can tell yet, but I played a lot of PTS.
I got more time in ADC than I did mid. Was the thing.
I'm surprised you put him.
I
in...
didn't want to run Thoth ADC because I wasn't like didn't want to ruin people's experiences.
I'm surprised you put him in A+. I would have expected more like A, based on like how he was before, like at least in ranked and casual. I will put him there though, because I can see the ranged and the Archmage's combination or the focus combination.
Conduit Gem also helps his early clear out a lot more than you'd expect it to.
Yeah, well, that was part of it, right? His early clear is good, and then the strategy that you employ with his 1 when you clear is you take the first shot and hit the frontline minion waves in the enemy mid mage with the first proc of his 1, so you get the true damage onto the enemy mid mage. So you're poking, and then you clear with the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so effective, and he's so safe, and you can dive him all you want. And it's just never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that's going to hold him back from a statistics perspective is the fact that people just suck ass at playing him. Like, it's just, I think we're going to see a lot of that.
It hurts me whenever I see randoms play it. And I'm not claiming to be the best player of him in the world, but I know my way around it.
It's me, random.
Some people's ability to use that dash is like you literally just press the W key. That's it. It's like they're constantly sat on Scardy Ice and trying to dash.
Yes, we can take a break.
Cupid's probably on the list, but I think has lost a little bit just because again it goes back to the whole item builds have changed. We're back to an Xe meta, so his ult's suddenly not going to be hitting as hard as the usual burst combo.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to start. He's still going to be a strong pick. It's just
maybe like
slightly toned down.
Yeah, like maybe like
Chiron. I don't think.
Wait. We have to put him in a tier.
All right. A still.
Wait, Cupid A?
True.
You say still, but you're dropping him basically from S to A.
Yeah, middle of A plus. Then.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Wraith.
I fully agree. Middle of A plus. I think the thing about Cupid for me is that he's always been like a good character. He's gone up and down on tier list, but you could be 5 levels behind, and if you come in and you ult in the right case in the right team fight, like that god is still good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you just mezzed 3 people and did 700 damage.
Yeah, and you crippled D5, right? Like even at level 14, if the entire rest of the team's level 20, like you're still having an impact on the game. Whereas if I'm I don't know, pick a character.
Izanami.
Yeah, if I'm an Izanami and I'm down 6 levels, like it's like you do nothing. You have no impact whatsoever. I think Cupid's just he'll always be A or above for me, no matter what, unless they rework his ass.
Alt rework, please.
I have someone else in between, so you can just chip in whenever you have another. Scylla. I think Scylla benefits a lot from the Archmage's buff because it buffs her early clear. Her crush, one crush combo is insane. It's disgusting. Also, when she procs it on the ultimate, it's even higher burst on the ult. Spear of Desolation, I think, works pretty decently on her as well. So, yeah. I think Scylla is going up. I would say Scylla is around.
Does it work that well though?
I think it
Because
does.
if
Some people
she's
have.
if she's getting assists, but if she's killing people with her ult, it's not on cooldown to get reset.
Yes, that is true. Well, either way, I think she's gonna be around A+.
I think the other item changes still make her good. Well,
Yeah.
What she was obviously very highly contested at Worlds. But
Yeah.
If she kills with her too, does she get the cooldown reset like when she detonates it?
yeah, she should do because it goes. It's
Yeah.
not. So I think you kind of referencing the problem with Thanatos passive with the one, which is to do with
Yeah, exactly.
which is to do with the actual shotgun of it not going on cooldown before it's already hit.
Yep.
But Scylla's is like instant, so
It'd be interesting how that worked. I mean, I would put her higher.
I think I'd be having Scylla closer to the top of A+ than the bottom.
Oh, I can move her to the front.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but
Yeah, I think she's definitely very good. I think she's not like Nua levels of frustrating, but I think she's or Merlin levels of frustrating for that matter. But I think she's very good at the moment. So I think like top end of A+ here.
who's the one you wanted to make? Is this Scylla?
Yeah, it was just.
I'm curious to see what you guys' thoughts are on Persephone with
I haven't seen it. No one's played her. I have no idea.
Dumpster. Trash tier.
True.
Bad.
Still
bad
a pro
character.
only god in my opinion.
Pro only, and it maybe if you're Shinto, because we saw a couple of pros that played on it and
Still
looked like
screwed
a
it up.
wet fart. Yep.
I mean,
Okay.
we also saw pros that made Poseidon look bad. So
Okay, so
sorry, Van. Sorry, Van. I love you, really.
So we're just gonna put Persephone in Wraith God pool so people just don't talk about her because I don't really want to play so. Like you can't reliably. It's the same as like SPL tier or whatever where you can't reliably place her because she performs so different in the hands of different players that it's just.
Mm-hmm.
She has some really cool advantages right now with being able to start at red alone as well with the plans, so that's nice. But it's just, yeah, it's just.
Did you guys play Agni?
I did.
Agni,
I think
Spear
he's
of
good.
Desolation?
I think Agni is definitely above A because he is like Merlin in the sense that he can use his ult quite a lot if he gets the resets with Spear of Desolation. Which is very nice. I don't think he is as broken as Merlin at doing it though, so I think he's more like an A+ tier-ish.
Yep, I agree.
Also
I
another
thought
god
Agni
that
was
could
very
jump easily.
Oh yeah.
Alternatively, the Archmage is best. There's a lot of gods where they have the option.
So can you just make your avatar?
Yes, I am
Conduit,
changing it.
or,
I will
Conduit
be
gem.
Gemma Focus Boy in Season 8, I promise. I will make people understand the value of damage mitigation.
The worst part is that you can combine the damage mitigation with the auras from a support. So you have a super tanky mid laner with extra mitigations that doesn't take any cut in damage they deal. Just saying. We'll try that out.
Get a Bruiser Mage with Gemma Focus and Oni Hunters. They suddenly have 15% damage mitigation and Thebes Sentinels.
You can get
Heartward Sentinels. And then suddenly
Stone
they've
of
got like 220 prots and 15% damage mitigation. You're not killing them in a single rotation at all.
All right, hear me out. Anubis is good this year.
Yes, I agree.
Reluctantly, yes.
Reluctantly, A tier.
Yeah.
Reluctantly.
Yeah. I mean, I think in ranked, he's been super good even last year, even in high ranks. Like, he's been completely undervalued. Like, even if you would have said A+ here, I would have not said no. It's just, Anubis works very well with some of the new items. He's also one of the few that can make use of Sacrificial Shroud, which works pretty well for him. And yeah, it's Anubis.
Oh, I had another god that was really good. Oh, Herc. Herc's a good support still.
He's back.
Well, here's the thing, right?
Glory days?
Here's the thing with Herc support. No one's good at playing it unless you're a pro player.
That's true. There's
Herc
very
is
few
Herc is
supports
Herc is
that know what they're
the
doing.
Herc is the Persephone of supports. I'm literally just gonna I agree with you that he's very good in the right hands, but I'm gonna put him into Wraithyn's guard pool just so we don't have to give him a placement, because he is in your guard pool. You can play him well in support, but yeah, you could put
I'd
him
argue Yamoj is the Persephone supports, but
less than I would say this season after the changes, less than Hercules. Yes, before that 100%, definitely. Like last season 100%, but Hercules is just, you either hit his 2 or you don't. And that makes all the difference. And most people don't hit it. And I can understand why most people don't hit it, because I don't hit it, because it's a very awkward hit delay and hitbox compared to most other abilities. But too many players don't understand how much value lies on this. And also he got a nerf through the Shield of Regrowth nerf, movement speed decrease. So
I don't think that's that big of a deal.
no, definitely not. No, just saying it's like a minor thing that would kind of save people that cannot hit the 2, you know. At least you can run around and be annoying, but you do that a little less now.
Yeah, that's true.
So like otherwise I'd probably put him like A+ or something. I don't know. I know every time you do it, it's just like somebody will be upset. Or should we just put him at, should we put him in A+ and upset people?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's upset people.
All right, let's do it.
I think people will be upset
If you
regardless.
made it far, if you made it this far into the video, I'll see you in the comments section.
I respect.
No, they will
all
make it
know
this
most
far. They
of you
will
just
make it
skip
this
to the
far.
end.
Yeah, I was gonna say they make it this far. They will skip to the end and then be like, "Why is it placed there?" After we've extensively explained why it's placed there, but that's just how it is.
Yeah. If you made it to this point in the video, say muskrat in the comment section, and everybody will know. Who else did I play? Sobek feels really good, by the way. A tier at a minimum, probably A+.
So support or solo?
Support. I played him in support.
Okay. Yeah.
I played against 3 of them, and they were definitely strong picks.
Okay, A+,
Potent.
A+ Sobek support. I will say that I think his solo performance will suffer, because there are 2 to 3 objectives that you secure on solo now that he cannot work with all too well, and I think that's going to be a problem for him. But that doesn't matter for his duo.
You also can't hope to compete with the likes of Arthur and Cu Chulainn.
Yeah, no, it's like there's nothing for him there at the moment, in my opinion. Which brings me to another ex-solo / support Guardian. Did you guys see Jormungandr?
Not after they nerfed the Bluestone, or sorry, the Destal proc on his autos. Nobody played him.
I think everyone overreacted to that, though, was the problem. Because
The
it was
death
clearly
toll?
not intended.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you meant like the.
Oh, that Reddit thread was hilarious. That
That
made me,
Reddit
hurt me.
thread disappointed me greatly.
Yes, that made me
Whilst
sad.
at the same time not being surprising at all.
Yes. I actually had some people in my YouTube comments as well that said they thought that interaction was fine, and it's just like, no,
Your
it's
opinion
just
is no
not
longer
fine.
valid.
Yeah, like so every time I have to look up a comment now, I'll just check back what they said about that. The thing is, I've seen him outside of that, right? I've seen him in solo a few times. The problem is it was by someone who has like 7 stars on Jormungandr and doesn't play anything else, basically. So it was very hard to judge because you know how PTS games go. But he seemed like he would be okay. Like he seemed like he would, like with Warrior's Blessing, he would survive like a Bluestone King Arthur without being completely obliterated, which you can't say for that many other gods. So I would think he's maybe like A tier, just solid at the moment. But I haven't seen him in support either, so like I don't remember seeing him in support at least. So I don't.
I was gonna put him in B.
I don't think I've seen a
agree on that.
Jormungandr support in a year. If
Yeah.
not more.
I mean, he got buffs
No,
recently for
it's-
that, so I don't know. I'm also down to put him in B. Yeah, good in the right hands. It's fine with me. Like I don't think he's terrible. I think he's like towards the front of B, but he's not. Yeah, he just is.
Ra's
What's funny is the number of
people.
people that are going to comment on how my god pool is all the bad gods. Because he didn't listen to the first 5 minutes of the video. I just thought about that. What about Cthulhu in solo? Didn't you guys come up against him? I saw two, and they performed pretty well.
Yeah, he's definitely good.
I think he's just got the pressure with it Sobek doesn't have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't see him solo as much as I saw him in support actually, but I still think he's a lackluster support in many ways, depending on how you play him. Because
he's much better off just diving.
Yeah, it's just you can't really peel for your team with this guy. But
yeah,
honestly, I really like PTS really brought out the frustration factors that you have with Cthulhu again, where he has too much of an easy time just running a single target down in his ultimate, and you can't really stop it. Period. Like he's CC immune. He's as fast as you are unless you have increased movement speed, and he just does that on a squishy.
I have another S.
Where would you put? Where would you put?
Sorry.
Cthulhu. It's like.
A?
I had him in A.
Yeah.
Top A.
Top A. Yeah, I agree. Okay. What else you got?
I have another S tier god for you guys. It is a support. Finally, we're getting to the good stuff.
Athena.
No, I think she's still shit, but it's just me.
I'm kidding.
Kuzenbo.
I mean, is that more based on SPL or on PTS?
What's that?
Is that based on SPL or PTS?
PTS. PTS, I think that god does exactly what he should, especially in these elongated team fights where he just gets into the back line and just mauls people and just disrupts and confuses. And I've always thought he's been underrated in a casual setting and outside of Masters because people just don't have answers for him. I think he's fantastic.
Okay, I can say that I've actually seen a fair bit of Kuzenbo on PTS. It's like the pick that everyone goes to. I don't agree with S. I agree that he's better than average. I would say he's an A+ guard, but I don't agree with S because I think in terms of late game team fight setup peel, there are just other guys that do that more reliable, whereas his main focus is disruption of a single target. And you have a lot of matchups now with multiple either backline divers or carries or whatever that can easily get to the backline. Think like Danzaburo and everything. And I was under the impression most of the time that Danzaburo doesn't really have the tools to deal with all of them at the same time because he can't be in the front line and the back line at the same time. And then, yeah, in many situations, he'd rather actually end up having a Capri ult or a Gap Shield or something because he can actually help from a different position, and he can't really do that. He can just throw his Nene over there. I think his reliance on being in the very place where he can do something is something that sets him back a little bit. So I would say A+. I would say A+. I don't think he's worse than A+, but I don't think he's S material.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put him towards the front.
I agree.
Like Scylla.
I'm going to give one more, and then I'm going to take my leave because it is 2:30 here, and I have to work in the morning.
Yeah, go
on. Hui. Weirdly, I think he's kind of gone down from what he already was because, for a start, his jungle clear is now abysmal compared to what it was in Season 7.
Oh,
Purple buff is completely spread out. That there is no good triple bounce spot. And the new... I don't know if it's actually settled, but what I was running for the majority of my PTS games, he doesn't have time to set up more than one.
Okay. Where would you put him? Like
A tops.
Yeah. Would you even put him in A? Like, see, we have Janos and
I'd honestly rather see him in B.
Yeah, no, I agree. I am done with that. Like, you know, front of B or something. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Right, Flair, thanks very much for joining.
It's been a pleasure. I will look forward to watching the rest of this in my lunch break in a week's time.
Don't work too much.
Everybody.
Yeah, you find Flair's links down below, of course. You can check him out. We'll put the Word of Thought there as well. And
love you, Flair.
Wonderful having you.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Good night.
All right, I'm trying to look through and see if I actually played anybody else. I could be much faster about this so people aren't asleep while they're watching.
Oh, that's fine. They can, you know, they can watch it in intervals if they want to.
Yeah, the extended cut. Discordia, I thought was still strong.
Yeah, I mean, she also works very well with a lot of cool interactions. Like A+-ish strong, or?
I would put her at the top end of A.
Yeah.
Mostly because I think it's not that she's not like a strong god that doesn't belong in A+. It's just all the other mages that are up there do what she does just a little bit better than I think.
Yeah, fair. Right here.
You know, it's not her how relevant she is, it's how much more relevant the other picks are. Shock solo is a lot of fun now with Bluestone.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of fun. Like I would say A+ almost.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I mean, I think it's a risky call, but with all the buffs he got and everything else,
they just keep buffing his ass. He was the top 10 win rate god at the end of season 7 or the last like 8 weeks or so, and people are still like, Shock's terrible. And what's gonna happen is because they're moving this like hybrid statistics versus perception based balancing that they've done for the last year, or more than a year, is until that god, if somebody goes, hey, Shock's kind of broken, like they're just gonna keep on buffing him. And eventually somebody's gonna go, because they did it with healers. Everybody said healers were terrible, even though statistically they were outperforming everyone. And then eventually everybody got so sick of the healers, they finally had a community win with a nurse.
And he's someone who doesn't get hit heavily by that nerf either, because he's boxing all the time anyway. So
all the time he's in combat, so he's getting that full heal off of his 3.
Funny thing, he might, now that you said it, I didn't think of it before, but he might be one of the few guards who also uses corrupted Bluestone decently, because he can just apply the damage and then run people down with massive attack speed, which is kind of funny.
Yep. He's an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Athena, all right, here's my conflict on Athena. It's 2 things. One, I think people are overvaluing the global rotation.
Yes.
For sure. Because again, I mentioned it earlier, everybody kind of prioritized this idea that the Guardian has to be everywhere at all times. And I think that's just not the case. You need to be, unless it's an absolute emergency where your 15-0 jungler is about to lose their lead because they got caught out, there's no reason for you to, as a Guardian who's in the mid lane, try to get to one of the side lanes for a fight that you're not at. It just doesn't make any sense. You're better off taking your team and doing something else. And so I think the Athena is a bait pick. I think it's kind of like Giannis. It's kind of like Apollo, where you go, I can go anywhere. And you pick that character because you're like, I can go anywhere. And the reality of it is there's just so many more stronger options that do things better, because she's really good for a blink taunt or a dash taunt, and that's it.
Right.
And your engage is done. Your efficacy is over.
I do agree that that her global capabilities are definitely overvalued at the moment. I also agree that her combo in itself is short and simple. I do think that she still does better on the new map than she does on the current one. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, it's not insane, but I think she does better. I don't know how much I would value her compared to other support picks. So
and that's the thing is, like, outside of the like mid game global rotations, and the other thing is it's not as punishing to get ganked anymore.
Yeah.
Right. You just go back to lane. You just keep farming. Right. Like, who cares? You lose your tier 1. Like, whatever. There's tons of farm to get. It's not that punishing to get ganked like it is in season 7 right now. So this whole idea that you have to prevent everybody from dying is just like a total fallacy. And then when it comes down to it, late game, like, who do you want? Do you want a Kepri? Do you want a Kumba? Do you want a Gab? Like, Gab's nuts right now, I would say, because he's got the mobility and he's got all of that CC and peel. Like, when it comes down to it, like, why would you pick Athena for anything other than that global ultimate? And there's really no good reason for it.
Yeah. Like, I'm torn between low A+ or A.
I put her in B.
No, I don't think she's B. No, she's not that. If we put Chernobog in S, we can't put Athena in B.
all right. We'll go A. I'll concede to A, but I think it's just such a bait pick.
True. I agree with that. I think she's definitely overvalued, and typically that happens at the start of every season. Every time the map got bigger, Athena got overvalued.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Yeah, exactly.
But let's see. All right.
Who are we missing?
Camazots, I make that quick. Camazots is doing pretty well into King Arthur if you build Warding Sigil. I've tried that. He would also do pretty well with Warrior's Blessing. So he's one of the ones that can survive the lane. He is not as much of a pressure pick at the moment, I think, because running Bluestone on him is relatively risky, but you can also do that. I do think that overall he's A+. Not purely, but strongly, because he is so good into King Arthur or also Cu Chulainn. He can just survive them very well, but he's not as good as them, like as a pick in general. And that's based on solo, not jungle.
Yeah, I haven't played him in the jungle, honestly. I've seen a couple people play him. He seems underwhelming. Same stuff as we've always kind of seen out of him.
I just don't like him at jungle.
The problem with his kid is if they buff him, he gets better in solo, not in jungle.
Yeah. So I would say like strong A+ solo, and maybe if you were to play him in jungle, maybe like B or something.
B, yeah.
But I'm not going to place him for that because it doesn't matter, because he's a solo to me.
By the way, Rat, I think, is another bait pick. I think the god's always going to do what he does well, which is, early game power clear. But again, that global, I would put him
it's
right
the same
there with
situation as
A.
Thor. Like, it's nice. You cannot be seen as much anymore. I think that is beneficial. The walls are higher. But it doesn't significantly change how we place. I would assume. I haven't actually played him. A?
Yeah, I'm going to put him back half of A. I think he's a worse Thor.
Yeah. Okay, I will say at this point, like as a quick cut, I think I'm looking through them, but I think that's one or two more picks now that I have seen or played. But at this point, these are the ones where I would say like these are the ones where I have more of an opinion on, or somebody else had more of an opinion on. Whereas after that, now it's more a lot more guesstimating based on the changes. Rather
you
than,
can infer at the. I mean. I can tell you, I played Khepri, and I've seen Khepri played. I think Khepri's strong. I've seen Ganesh played. I think Ganesh is strong.
Yeah, wait. Khepri A+-ish?
Sorry. Yeah, Khepri A+ for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Khepri's really fun with alternate timeline. I know nobody builds it, but it's basically like...
That's just... Alternate timeline is a bad item, and I don't want to hear this.
Khepri and Geb are so fun with that item.
It's funny, but it's not...
Dumps.
Like, it's 10 minutes cooldown, man. 10 minutes.
I know. Yeah, it's bad, but it's still funny.
Yes. Geb as well. I think also around A+.
Yeah, A+ for sure on Geb.
I think he's doing pretty. It's always a safe pick to fall back on at the start of the season. Though I do think what's worth pointing out, there is a pretty good chance that we could end up in a high pressure duo meta because of the many objectives again. And in that case, he might drop off because he doesn't have as much pressure.
So Bobby had given me some reasoning on Serket being an S tier. It's that she is safe, high base damage, can solo someone, gets beads for free, can gank by herself, is hard to lock down, anti-heal, and the ult is awesome.
That sounds like the same reasons as in season 7.
Yeah, he thinks the aggression's gonna be very valuable with what he's played, so he put her in S for sure. But I did get an answer out of him. I told you I would. So
I'm thinking. Do you know if he particularly likes the cat as a pick? Like, I'm just trying to figure out how much personal bias is in there, or
he likes. I mean, he prefers all aggressive gods, right?
I would suggest I suggest we put her in a strong A+ behind Susanoo, purely based on the fact that I have not seen her being played in support at all, and I don't know how much personal bias is in Bobby's judgment or not. I mean,
she still sucks in the jungle, for the record.
Yeah, I can imagine that. I think the other problem with Serket support also is that she is not easy to play as a support. I think she's actually easy to play as a jungler, but if you're inexperienced with her, you're gonna struggle with Serket support because you really need to use that aggression to your advantage.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a skill cap. Range. I mean, she could be S all the way down to like C if you can't hit your abilities.
Yeah, I'm putting her at the front of A+ here so we can like see how she goes from there, and if she goes down she probably goes down to A, and if she goes up, she goes up to S. So it's like it's not going to change significantly. I have played Varman. I have played him with the wrong starter. I wanted to try Varman in solo, and I wanted to try Warrior's Blessing, and that combination, Warrior's Axe, and that combination did not go well. I think he is an interesting user for Corrupted Bluestone because you can proc the effect with the ability and then go into your ult and have increased attack speed. But I can't figure out how good that really is, how many enemies you can hit before that get the effect from, because this ultimate, I think, doesn't count as an ability. So you have to proc it beforehand, as far as I'm aware. Might be wrong. So I would just say A, and let's see how he goes. Like, I don't have a strong opinion either direction here.
Yeah, I was going to put him down in B just because I still see him as just like a...
Yeah, I'm done with that as well. Okay, I'm putting it at the front of B here, but with a disclaimer that he might be very good with Corrupted Bluestone, and that might change this outcome, but he doesn't seem like an overly dominant solo at the moment. I also have Guan Yu, which I think I played once. People pointed out that if you play Jungle Guan Yu, one of my favorite picks, you can run Bumba's Hammer, and with the resets of his cooldown that he gets from his 2 and everything, plus 1,
almost constantly.
You have like a lot of dashes and a lot of everything else. Guan Yu was doing well before. Guan Yu is a god that works well with an aggressive playstyle anyways, because it supports his passive, so he's not going to suffer as much from the healing nerf. Like, you're going to go in and then you're going to heal after, it's fine. Yeah.
I'd put him A+ solidly.
Yeah, I would say like A or A+, but I'll put him A+ because I like him. It's my bias.
Yeah. This is the unbiased tier list, by the way.
I mean,
totally unbiased.
I mean, has there ever been an unbiased tier list? Because the only unbiased tier list you could do is go through win rates and place them just according to that. So
Yeah.
what's that gonna do? Trying to see if I've seen anyone else. I'm really running out of god. I've seen Ares. People made a point.
None of the areas I have played with or against have done well.
Yeah, people made a point that you can actually one war flag on him very well, and then you get all the other auras and everything, and get a lot of benefits from that. And I agree, but he's also still Ares.
He's just a beads burner.
Yeah. He doesn't really have the mobility to get across the map very quickly either, which is something that I think is pretty significant now. Maybe like, I don't know, A or B tier.
I was going to put him in B.
Yeah, B. I'm fine with that. In the middle of B. He's still not bad. I mean, B tier is not trash. It's just, good in the right hands. The Goddess of Demonetization. Don't say her name. I've seen her like once. I think she's not bad.
C.
You say C?
Maybe B. I think
not
she's
C, not C, not with the pressure that she can get in lane.
Soul ADC, yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I think she's B. Maybe I would even put her towards A, but I'm done with putting her in B. But again, Archmage's gem and then her 1. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of clear and a lot of freedom to do whatever you want afterwards.
I can tell you my experience in the Creator Cup that Ra is a B tier god.
Wait, what?
Ra?
Where was this coming from?
I got obliterated by Kurt. he just gets walked at, and they nerfed his passive movement speed, and he just, I don't know. It felt really terrible to play that character.
Okay, but I don't think he's a B tier. I think he's an A tier.
All right, fine.
I think he's an A tier.
The out of combat healing nerf is pretty big.
That is true. That is true. That affects him more than others because he's really not, he's not really boxing when he's healing. I mean, technically, you can always just drop down the heal after you hit the enemy with something, but then sometimes you don't. I would put him to the bottom of A here. I don't think he's B. I mean, I would put your experience more down to individual skill disparity there.
Hey, now. I had no peel. I don't want to talk about it. I needed a Kepri. Ganesh, by the way, is A+ for me.
I agree. I think Ganesh has been doing pretty well. Not the highest A+ god, but like still A+.
My reasoning for Ganesh is actually kind of interesting. I think Ganesh is strong because of his ult. Because you're sneaking objectives a whole lot more.
Mm-hmm. True.
And he just melts them.
I just realized that if you do if you really want to go for it, you could do a Scorpion kill with your ult and then just have it like right on the Gold Fury afterwards.
Yep. It doesn't spawn right away, I don't think.
No, it does.
Was it?
Yeah. I was surprised by that as well. Okay, maybe that's like too much of a delay until Ganesh's ult runs out. I don't know, but it spawns very, very quickly.
I thought they changed it.
There's no significant delay. I was very surprised because like Arachne went for that, and I was like, oh, we did the Scorpion and walked away, and I was like, well, we wanted to do the Gold Fury as well.
That's interesting. Yeah. Huh.
Well, you have to. That's how it works basically. You don't really notice it on the solo side because usually fire's not up by that point yet, I think. But yeah.
I think Kukulkan is an A tier god, by the way.
Yeah, no discussion.
I'll probably get a lot of hate for that one, but just being able to like toss his 3 over walls and just do straight up area denial in team fights.
Yeah. I think he also has pretty
really,
nice,
really strong.
pretty nice solo like camp clear in the mid lane, which is more important now. So I think it's
and he can clear safely, right? You use your 2, you go up, you throw your 3 down, you go right back to the tower.
Yeah.
The other thing is that with and this is interesting with the high walls and foliage, it's really hard to see his ultimate.
Yes. Yes.
You know, where in season 7 you're like, there it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's I'll probably get hate for that in the comments, but I think it's
no, I don't think so. I think most people agree
it too, right? But I think he's just for like most of us, he's a decent middle of the pack god.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I played one more. Where was it? Artemis. I think Artemis is a sleeper, like an A+ sleeper.
A+.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay, explain.
I think that at least from what I've experienced, that after the first couple of ganks in the dual lane side early game, that a lot of the fighting seems to take place away from the dual lane. At least, again, this is strictly in my experience from the other day, right? Or, you know, my time on the PTS.
Mm-hmm.
And when she's left alone and just allowed to power farm and just sit there, she just turns into this monstrosity late game. And she's got one of the best, if not the best, hunter team fight ult. The only thing that sucks about it is how unpredictable it is of who's getting stunned next. But these fights are so chaotic and so drawn out and so spread out that I think she's going to do very, very well in this new season.
Okay, I have a counterpoint. Would you agree that before this she was roughly B tier?
Yes. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think she was that bad. I mean, everybody liked to hate on her, but I really don't think she was that bad.
Okay, so my reasoning for her not being above A would be that, again, there are a lot of objectives that you want to secure in the early game on duo side, and she does not have the pressure to do that compared to most other ADCs.
That's true. She definitely needs help doing that. Absolutely. Yeah. And she can't get anybody off of any of the objectives.
Yeah. And then you're giving up a lot of like early extra farm that I think sure you can catch up, especially if you run Gilded Arrow, I suppose, but you're waiting a long time to catch up is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I think she's A tier, and I think I very much agree with her late game potential, especially because like so many fights happen in the jungle as well. You can just send Tusky around.
And these games are going so long too.
Yeah,
well, they are, but they're not. It's like right around 30 minutes. There's usually like one team fight, and then whoever wins that.
Yeah, but at the same time, by that time, most of the time players will have more golden XP than in last season, so it ends up feeling like a very late game fight. I don't know how well she worked with the new items. That's the problem with hunters in general because the items are so messy. But yeah, I think like A.
No, I agree.
Okay, as we're on the topic of hunters, there's another hunter I want to talk about, and that's Ullr. So Ullr is interesting. I haven't seen him, but I have a theory. My theory is that if you run Ullr in combination with either a hyper-aggressive support who runs Bluestone, like say like you run something like Cu Chulainn support, or a Warflag support, and then run Ullr with Bluestone himself, you will absolutely dominate until, well, basically super late game where he falls off. I haven't tested this. It's just a theory. I just want to throw it out there. I don't want to place him just based on that theory, but I have a feeling that people might end up hating Ullr just because of that. Because he can proc it 4 times very easily, right?
If we see pressure duos too, like Ullr will come back, and I think that's kind of what Bobby was hinting at was happening too.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna put him in A for now. I don't think he's like above or below, but I'm putting him into the frontier with a lot of potential to go up if we see a very aggressive dual lane meta develop. Have you seen Sun Wukong?
I played him. He doesn't feel very good.
You played him jungle or solo?
Solo. He's okay.
Bluestone?
I feel like there was like, I played Bluestone. Yeah.
Yeah.
He seemed like he was all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing to like write home about, but I thought he was, decent at best.
Yeah, I'll trust your judgment. I'll put him in A. I know that a lot of people are very excited for Bluestone Sun Wukong because it used to be so overwhelming. But I think since there are very specific counter items to Bluestone, that's not going to work the same way. You're not going to bully people out as much, and I think that's something that people
you said A tier is what you put?
Yeah, just like middle of A. I think he ain't no King Arthur. Loki. Somebody made a very interesting point about that Loki solo with Bluestone could be incredibly obnoxious because he can now proc it off his decoy.
Right. I think he'd be a decent solo laner now in that bruiser style.
Yeah. And I still think he's a pretty good jungle as well. I think people underestimate him as a jungle too. Especially with the buffs that he got now. I mean, he was played in the SPL in jungle now. But I haven't played him on the PTS, so... Wait, does he? Wait, no, actually, no, never mind. Take it back. Loki is really good. I've seen someone play him. And what Loki can do in jungle is he can get Bombers and engage in his stealth, use his other abilities, and reset his stealth over and over and over. And it's disgusting. He can literally just use his full combo on you and then go back into stealth and use it on the next person. Like, he has to wait like 2 seconds between, which is, as long as you take to walk around anyways. So that that stealth is on a low enough cooldown to instantly reset, but then you can instantly reset, which is absolutely gross. I'm actually gonna make a call here and put him in like front of A+. I feel like that might become so obnoxious unless they nerf Bombers. Because even if they adjust Bombers...
like the Bombers nerf has got to be coming.
Yeah, but even if they adjust Bombers in a way where, say, like it procs once per ability, it would still not affect them much because you'd still go through 2 targets with that stealth. Still a lot. It was not pleasant to deal with.
All right, I'm speculating here, but I have one I've had my eyes on for a while is Amaterasu.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I played against her.
I think Ama is easy A+.
Yeah, I agree. She might even go up.
Burn, rotational ability, team fight presence with her 1. Yeah. I think she's up there for sure.
And she's one of those
you could flex her in solo or support.
Yeah,
both would be fine.
And she's one of those who can use like various different starters in solo very well. Like there's basically, I don't think there's any wrong option for her.
I played her with Destol. I was gonna play her with Manikin because
Yeah.
You just sustain off your blue buff and your 1.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw someone going like AA Armor with Manikin, Ninja Tabai, Berserkers as well. And that, I mean, it falls off a little bit in late game, obviously, but it slaps at the start.
Right.
Okay. I think we can go through the others very quickly because I'm really out of ones with a strong opinion. Shang-Kui, he got a buff. He got a buff, and it's interesting, and I'll just make a risky call and say A, but at the very end of it. And maybe it'll come true, or maybe he'll fall down to B, but there's actually there's Warding Sigil, so if you want to play him solo, don't. It counters his entire 1. Like, it's not worth it, so you can only really play him in mid, and in mid you are in a very risky situation most of the time, so maybe he'll find his place, but I expect him to go down to B.
Yeah, me too. I played on her game. He's solidly A. Will be better if there's a high pressure duo meta.
Yep. Agreed.
Like top end of A for me.
Yeah, I'll just put him in the middle. I think Ola has a bit more potential, like if we go into high aggression, because he can proc Bluestone way more than Anher. And that's the highest aggression you can get, but that's all that.
Yep.
Achilles.
Morrigan. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say Achilles also around A. I don't think he stands out in either.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how Bumba's hammer interacts with his 2, but with a 3, but I don't think it would be anything. Well, maybe it's good. I don't know. That would be strange, I think. If you proc it after the first one, what's gonna happen? Can you proc it twice?
Right.
Wait, that could be good. If you can actually proc it twice, it would be good. Because then you can use your 1 first, and then use your 3 twice in a row and get 2 resets. Well, I don't know if it works like that, so I can't say, so I'm just gonna put him in A. If it works like that, maybe A+. Morrigan, you said.
Yeah, Morgan I think is a solid A+.
Yes. She's definitely good.
She's somewhat safe in the mid lane. She can kind of like use the jungle to her advantage pretty well.
Yeah.
I think she's good.
Okay, one thing. If the enemy has like Morrigan jungle, for example, or Morrigan ADC and Nuwa, it's the most disgusting thing you can imagine.
Double Nuwa with
double
the
Nuwa with the Archmage's gem
oh.
on one of them. The other one doesn't get the full proc of it, but gets everything else still. It's not fair. I had it one game and I hated every minute of it. It's just like constantly sitting there like, please just stop doing this. Just let me walk around. I bought lifesteal on my jungler just to survive. It was so annoying.
Couldn't you potentially wait for a few seconds before you knew all to get the Archmage's
Yeah, you do that, but you'd still not get the full stacks because the full stacks are 20 seconds and you don't have 20 seconds.
You're not nailed that long.
Yeah.
I can run through some of the ones that I think are really terrible if you'd like, but
yeah, go on.
I think Nox is really bad.
Yeah, BT, I would say.
Again, an overvalued pick because you can dash into the Athena or into the Chernabog or whatever and free rotate or the Thor or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, her buff was nice. I think her buff helps her, but not to an extent that puts her above B.
No. Baron, I would put in C tier.
Wait, no. Disagree. Why would you put Baron in C?
I didn't think Baron was very good.
I saw a few games of Baron. He wasn't like dominating, but he wasn't C tier.
Hell, hold on. Friggin' Alexa just said, whoop. All right, we're good.
I think Alexa disagrees on your Somni placement.
I know, right?
She had that and she was like, nah, man. No, I don't think Somni is as bad as you think he is. I'm not sure where you're getting that from. I think he doesn't particularly benefit from the new items.
Yeah.
But I also don't think he falls off. I think he's B tier. B for Baron. Okay. I would have even placed him almost an A, so I'm like done with B, but because like the point is right. The point is that he is one of the few where the healing doesn't change at all because it's always combat heal. So that I think helps a lot.
That's true. I still think he's just so vulnerable in the mid lane.
You just use the suck and just pull him in your tower.
If you can get back to your tower.
Well, that's why you clear with your 2 and not your 1. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Who else here?
I think we can just go through the
Hell. I think is way weaker.
Yeah, I think she falls off. Yeah.
Like big B tier, in my opinion. Like top end of B, low end of A.
Yeah. I'm thinking if it's like low end of A more, but somebody told me about an interesting interaction with her, which I unfortunately forgot. So yeah, I mean, you can technically, if you can run a jungle, you can run Bombas.
It's probably a Spear of Desolation interaction.
No, it wasn't because it was. I think it was Bombas, but it doesn't really matter anyways. I think BT is fine.
She comes online so late and she's not safe enough for that time.
And I
think she just gets bullied.
She's 100% an out of combat healer. That's a big problem. Like
yeah,
you go into your heal stance and you heal and you're not fighting, so you're not gonna get the heal.
I think that nerf's gonna hit her hard. Oh man,
Cerberus also probably B. I think maybe A. I don't know.
Bologna I'd put in A. I think everybody loves the Death Toll the first go around, but then kind of figured it out that she's not that great.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it towards the end of A. The problem is just that Death Toll doesn't really run too well into most solo matchups anyways, unless your enemy is going Warrior's Blessing. But that assumes that your enemy is going Warrior's X. That assumes that your enemy is doing that. So
what do you think? Have you played Neath? Because I played her once and it was not bad.
I don't play Neath. I mean, I can see a point though, because her ultimate is one of the global ones that can definitely help and doesn't, where it's not an overvaluation of it, but rather it is probably just that good on the new map.
Yep. I mean, I'd put her bottom A, top of B.
I'd say yeah, that's fine. I would say A is fine. Just say. If we get to do an aggression meta, she's also gonna do pretty well. I mean, she can also proc Bluestone off everything anyway, so.
Yeah, Bluestone would be interesting on Neath, actually, the more I think about it.
Yeah.
Vulcan, terrible. Absolute dog crap god.
You want to put him in your
Awful.
god pool?
But put him in my god pool. Same with Shivalanki, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay. Shivalanki? Wait, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think how the item changes affect Shivalanki, but
yeah, his clear just stinks. I mean, his clear stunk since they nerfed his one.
Yeah. I'm just. Was there any redemption for him? You can always go Bluestone and get clear. No, okay. We'll just put him in Wraith God pool and we'll see how he goes over time because I really can't place
somebody
him.
can yell at me and tell me I'm wrong and tell me why, and that's fine.
Yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know where to place him based on the item changes as well. That's like it could be anything.
I'm trying to think here. Kabrakan will be good in a high pressure meta, but
I mean, Kabrakan is actually really strong in the current meta. It's fascinating. Like statistically, he's the best support, which is crazy. Because I never look at him that way, but that's just what it is. He has pretty. No, I think actually he has pretty decent rotation speed as well and everything.
I put him in A+.
Yeah.
For next year.
I gotta put him like end of A+, but
Yep, that's where I put him. I think Hera is dog shit now.
Really?
Yeah. I think her early game is kind of buns.
And I agree with the early game, but at the same time, she has so much Argus uptime with the spear, right? I don't know. Well, it depends if it works for you, anyways. If you get killed.
Well, yeah, and you don't get the cooldown proc until Argus is dead, right?
True. Yeah. Okay, that actually makes it worse than most others. Yeah. Okay.
I think she's terrible. She's not safe. She doesn't have good early game. She doesn't have good early clear. She's a little safe, but you typically don't rank the shield up until you're full clearing waves. She doesn't get the Spear of Deso benefit.
All right. Huh.
And
I don't really know where to put her, like between B and your god pool.
put her in C. Unless you're Dardes.
I feel like C is like could come back to haunt us.
Well, whatever. I mean, I would love to look back and see if we were right or not. Right? This is just a guess for the most part.
I feel like I'm gonna put it to the end of B. I'm not gonna put it C because I feel like in order for a god to be C, they just have to have something that makes them stand out negatively more than Hera's just like I just rather pick something else.
Yeah, that's true. Same with Isis. That's a good point. Or I would there's just a million other gods I'd rather play, and even them aren't good. Even they aren't good.
Yeah.
Afro, I think is A tier.
Yeah, but not higher. Definitely not higher. I think that she's being very overvalued at the moment. The nerf hits her as well, obviously. Like if you don't hit the enemy with the heal, then you're not healing as much.
I think Artio is A+. She's got good early aggression.
Yeah.
I think like Fafnir. I'm just going through the Guardians because I mainly play support in jungle.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fafnir is a good character. I think it fits well into this meta because of the objective burn and rewarding aggression. But I feel like everybody's really bad at playing him.
Yes. I would just put him in A based on that alone. Like it's just playing him effectively enough to really work in this meta is something that doesn't happen often enough.
I played one Mulan game and I never want to play her again.
Oh no. I've seen someone else on Mulan and they did pretty well on her. Solo.
What were they building? Because I definitely picked the wrong item.
Did you play jungle or solo?
Solo.
I don't remember the build. I think it was just like a typical CDR bruiser type of thing. I think she's A. I think she's.
I probably just bought the wrong start. That was the other thing I noticed about season 8 is man, if you buy the wrong starter item, you get
it ruins your game. Yeah. You have to really know what you're in for and what you're up against. Like or find an option that works okay into anything, you know. But that's what I learned when I did the farm and Warriors X.
I think Nike's gonna be A+. Still does really well in the jungle.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What to say?
I think Hades will still be A+.
Wait, actually, hang on. 1 second, Nike. I'm actually tempted to put it down to A, just because I can't really think of a single upgrade that works particularly well for her. Or maybe mannequins? You could run down the enemy with your ult?
You can do mannequins. What's the one that gives you protections, additional protections and power in the jungle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess the Bambas, the defender of the jungle, I mean.
Defender of the jungle, yeah.
It's okay, but it's.
they're
I
pretty
think it's more
hybrid,
like
don't you?
it's more like an attack speed. Well, at the same time, yeah, it works for her clear. Yeah, okay, A+.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she's still just going to be a strong jungle pick, just in general. And her team fight utility is always good.
Mhm.
It's kind of another one of those cupids where like you could even be behind and you're still going to have a big impact on a team fight.
Yeah.
Medusa.
Depends. It's Medusa is one of those, hyper aggression, lane pressure where she does very well. She also has with her one, she has very good secure of the new scorpions because they have health points, not health bar. So that works very well for her. So I think if we go into aggression meta, that would work out very well for her in any regard.
I think Medusa, and this is just straight up my opinion, I think she is one of the most highly underrated hunters out there.
I agree, but she also has a problem in the new season, and that problem is that we are going into an Executioner meta, and she does not do particularly well with Executioner because almost all of her damage is front-loaded.
Right.
And that, I think, sets her back a lot compared to the others, so I would just put her in A and see how she goes.
Call it a day.
Yeah.
Freya, I think, is C, along with the other magical ADCs except Olerin.
Yeah,
Well, Kronos got a buff.
Wait, is there any starter that Freya can use in an interesting way? Can she use like Death Toll or something? Is that physical? I don't even know.
I mean, you can, but it's not really. I mean,
yeah,
she's got AOE autos, right? So the efficacy is down too.
I think Freya is my CQ pick as well because I don't like she has not much going on. You either snowball completely. Congratulations, you have now won against a team that is worse than you, or you're not doing anything. Which Oleron, he said. I think Oleron is better than C. Oleron always is better than C in my opinion because.
Oh yeah, no, just for the team fight. I mean, it's the same thing as Cupid, and I keep bringing it up because it's just a good example, right?
Yeah.
If you walk into its fight and you Oleron ult, you change the fight.
Exactly. That's why I would say he's like never below A.
I always have him in A or above.
I would put him in A. I haven't seen any like anyone trying him or finding out anything that is particularly good for him that put him in A+. So I'm just gonna put him in A. Just like, I think it's actually balanced for once.
Jing Chen.
Haven't seen him. No idea.
A for me.
Yep, fair.
I think Jing is a great like support, right? Mm-hmm. The god's got mobility, he's got good utility, he's got good CC, and if the only thing that you do is you pick Jing and you W key at the other hunter and you just put your one on them and then ult to get beads, you've done your job.
Mm-hmm. And
I feel like not enough people, everybody, because he gets just put in like the dog shit territory by every single other tier list maker out there because he's not, what have you, Yamoja, right? But I think he is just such a good, solid, all well-rounded character.
Yeah. And again, if we go into
especially if you're less experienced at the game.
If we get into an aggression meta, that's his thing.
Oh, Jing does very well there.
Yeah. I want to make a call for Bastet. I think Bastet is at least A tier. I've seen some Bastet. Yeah. She does pretty well.
I was gonna put her A+.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I think she does really well in the new jungle. She's still, the early stages are annoying, but with the new starters, you can kind of solve that. And I think there's some interesting path for her that might work well. I haven't tried all of them.
This is me hoping I'm not slipping, but I heard a little birdie told me that they may be reconsidering their changes on her.
Again,
I don't know if that's public or not. We'll find out.
Wait, what do you mean by reconsidering? Like not doing them or doing them again?
Doing them again.
Oh no, that's public. That's public.
Oh God.
No, they said that.
This is where I go.
No,
Yeah,
they said they were not happy with how the ult turned out, and they want to give her a real ult again. And
yeah, I know what it is too. And it's gonna be awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, don't say anymore, otherwise you're.
Yeah. It's like, when does my NDA expire? Never. But yeah, no, I think she's solidly A+. I think she's a good character. The caveat with Bastet is, and especially if you guys are watching Duke's video right now, which I think 80,000 of you will in the next week, but Bastet needs a team with a lot of CC around her. Right. The reason you pick Bastet is because you have enough control, you have enough space control, you have enough peel, you have enough gauge, all that, and really all you're looking for is just pure unadulterated damage.
Yeah.
That's what she's good for, but make sure you have the rest of those things in your team comp before you pick her. Otherwise, you're gonna get destroyed.
Yeah.
You almost need somebody else to be able to burn the beads and the Aegis and everything like that before you go in.
By the way,
similar to how like Arachne and Baka do really well with gods like Cthulhu or Sun Wukong that just get in the back and just make people spread out. That's one of those ones where you need the CC on your team because you have basically none.
Yeah. By the way, she's one of those who makes really good use of the new mid entrance, because you just walk in there and just jump on them and they just, how are you going to respond at that point? Like if you overextend once with like against her, you're dead, and that's gross.
And you're behind.
Yep.
Ymir, I think is fantastic. By the way, A+ for me.
I know. I'm not even going to argue against this because I've seen a lot of people agree with this as well. I just don't know why. Like, what's up with Ymir? Is it just because of the wall change still, or something else?
So it's the wall change. It's how tight the corridors are, right? Like there's, on the map today, you fight in a lot of open space. In the map on Tuesday, you fight in a lot of places that are more closed in, like out, like even the fire giant pit with all the pillars and everything like that. Like there's just so many more places for you to use that wall utility.
Yeah.
Good Ymir's use the wall well. He's got great early aggression. You build Greaves and Sov on him, and you're tower diving mid laners at like level 7 or 8 or whatever it is. I think he's just a good character, and he excels particularly well, when you want to play aggressively. And then even in the late game, I mean, it's the same thing. You could be 10 levels behind, but if you use your wall well and you use your ult well, or you hit a blink freeze, like the game's over. But he gets picked off a lot, so you got to be real careful about that. Like you want to stay away from playing against gods like Nemesis and other things like that are going to pull you out of position and nuke you.
It's actually interesting though that you say it. I think he benefits from the changed items for support as well, because there's so much protection on them now if you want to.
Yeah.
So if you're not running into a Nemesis, you can just stack that, and you get like, you're not going to do as much yourself, but you're going to have the auras on your allies anyways, which is more useful for Ymir in late game, since he doesn't do that much in late game in some ways. His 2 and his ult are not that useful most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, his 2 and his ult are either for zone denial or the slow.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting.
More than anything. I think he's solidly A+.
Yeah,
like middle of the pack A+ for sure. The thing is you gotta be really good at positioning. If you're not, you're gonna get pwned.
Yeah.
Osiris for me, I played against a couple of them in solo lane. I think he's solidly A+. Maybe even like top of A.
I was gonna say, is he good enough for A+? I haven't seen him. I can't judge at all.
I would say top of A. Good god, bullies out well, farms the lead well. Shuts down a lot of healing, and I think he contends well with Arthur, but not as well as Arthur, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, not well as Cu Chulainn, especially. I think that's.
I was gonna mention that earlier about putting Arthur in S. Is that if we're taking a lens of like how well people play on the god, there's 1,000,001 bad Arthurs out there.
Doesn't matter anymore. It used to matter, but it doesn't matter with Bluestone.
The Bluestone makes it so you can just fidget spin across the map.
And the Bluestone makes it so. I can run down this quickly if you want to see more of that. I have a full video on that. But the Bluestone makes it so that you don't want to wait too long between abilities, because you can actually get extra damage if you keep refreshing the double stacks and never drop down to single stacks. It's a weird interaction, but anyways, you basically increase your damage from like was it like from 15 to no from whatever it is, like you almost increase it by like 1/4 of the damage. So it might almost be better to not use basic attack cancels all the time in between, which means you can just play him like a complete idiot and you're still gonna do everything right. Because you just spam all the buttons and you're still gonna get the same damage or almost the same damage. And that's literally like one of my friends was playing it and I was like, he was like, oh, I don't know how to play King Arthur, and I was just press the buttons. It doesn't matter anymore.
Face roll.
Yeah, yep. it works now. It's old King Arthur.
I have Odin in like C tier.
Yeah, I don't really know what I haven't seen him, but I would not know if there's anything that works well for him.
Like where would I play? Like you could Bluestone him and you just jump on the wave and then you run back to your tower line, but that's about it.
Yeah, and Bluestone,
you're playing him for the late game cage, which isn't even that good anymore.
Yeah, like Bluestone, like you don't want to run him in jungle either, because he doesn't have enough like his cooldowns are too long and everything for Bluestone to be reliably used.
One is shit too. He can't solo the buff by himself.
Yeah, so I really don't like it can't even like if you bird bomb you can't even use the bombas reduction effectively because you only get one of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't even know which item you would use. And his whole job is to counter healers, and most healers are not going to be that dominant anymore, I think. So.
Yep.
Sure.
AMC I would put in B tier.
Yeah, the B and B. Yep.
Yep.
Nothing to say. I want to talk about Tyr. I think Tyr actually has a lot more potential. I was talking
solidly A+ for me.
Yeah, I was talking to someone who said like he works pretty well into King Arthur because he has sustain and you just survive with Warrior's Blessing. And I think that is a good thing. He might drop down again, but I think he's one that survives very well in an aggression meta by just aggressing back.
Yeah, and he's not affected by the healing nerf, right? Because he's always going to be in combat. He's using it.
Well, he might be if you're not. You can't heal into a wave without boxing beforehand, but it's not that big a deal.
Yeah. You just make sure you get a dash off on somebody or whatever before you use your two.
The downside for him is that he doesn't secure the Scorpion very well, but that's it.
If that's the worst thing that he does, he's still better than half the warriors.
By the way, that is something that's very interesting for Yom in solo. He can in support as well. He can instant secure the Scorpion from the enemy team.
Right.
Because it's like 3 ticks instantly. Terra. Okay, Terra I think is good. Purely because she does the same thing that Sylvanas does and that Yemoja does with a massive amount of aura stacking and Lotus Crown.
Yep.
So I would put her actually in A+ as well without having played her. So yeah.
I've seen her played. She did well.
Okay. Well.
What was I gonna say? Chunga in mid was interesting. I thought she did well, like solidly A.
What did you what starter?
I think they ran Sands on her.
Wait,
I don't know why.
I don't
Sands and just spam, Sands and spam, and that was it.
Wait, what is Sands? Is that still called Sands? Is that Sands now?
I thought it was Sands at time, yeah.
Oh, I'm really not up to date on the mid list.
Yeah,
I only look at the other two all the time, so it's like.
It's a decent item on her because it's 10% CDR level 1. It's the same old Sands of Time passive where like the less mana you have, the more.
Right.
And so with her, she pokes with the 1, gets the brawling mechanic off, heals with the 3, and you just basically sit there and you just spin around and around and you heal your minion wave.
I can see why you would run Sands on her actually, because the other starters don't seem to have like the most valuable upgrades for her. I actually forgot what the second Sands upgrade is. Like the one is the revive mechanic, the alternate timeline, but the other one is
I think it's power.
Yeah, I think the other one is not interesting. I think that's
on how much of your mana you have.
Oh,
right? So it's
right.
Stack with like a shitload of MP5.
Right. Okay, but that's at the same time that's a little bit
with like a Tahuti and everything else.
It's a little bit awkward though because it's not really something she would like focus on, I guess. Well, we'll see. But I think A is a good place. But,
well, it's based on what percentage of your mana you have.
Yeah.
Not your total overall mana. I put her in A just because she doesn't need to back. She gets sustained forever with that item, and she's relatively safe, right? She's got good self peel. She's got her 2.
Yeah.
So she can step up, clear the wave, poke, be annoying, and then turn back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that level 1 10% CDR right out of the gate really helps her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's a sleeper because she's got really good in combat healing, in my opinion, because it's on such a short cooldown. But I mean, it could be worse. Baba, I think, is terrible.
Yes.
Probably C tier.
Yes. I have had my hopes for her for a while, but I just
Maybe
none of the new items seem appealing to me for Baba either. So it's like,
yeah,
what you gonna do?
Chiron, I think, is good, like A+ tier. Chiron with Bluestone is a little
I can
nuts.
see that. I haven't tried it, but I could see him A or A+, and it works out. Super high aggression early game. I mean, he used to use Bluestone back in the game, right? Back in the day, you could even run him in middle with Bluestone again.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a couple of mid lane hunters. I think we're gonna see Izanami. I think we're gonna see Chiron.
By the way, something that's very interesting as well, for Chiron specifically, keep in mind that Corrupted Bluestone gives you more attack speed for hitting enemies with things, and Chiron can just super easily get that on many targets with his anything in his kit, really.
He ults and then 2s and then gets a big power spike and a big attack speed buff.
Yeah, and that could because you could kind of go into an ability-based build and still have a ton of attack speed just from that.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
You build an oboe and like 400 power, and then you ult and and then hit your 2, and then you're at the 2.5 cap. And your oboe procs are doing 400 damage apiece.
Yep.
I think Scotty's actually going to be good this season.
She might be. But I don't want to place her too high because it's such a hypothetical.
I mean, I'm going to put her in B just because she's Scotty, and I don't think that much has changed. But I have this like sneaky suspicion that she's going to do well. Yeah, and it's just more of like anecdotally playing against one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Does Calder block? Does Calder's dash proc item effects? Could she proc Bluestone with that? I don't even know. This is where we need Flare.
I don't know, but I think they're on such a short cooldown, I think if you're just procking off your 2 and your 1, you're doing
if you proc it off your 2, it would be huge. But I don't know if you can.
Or sorry, your 3 and your 1.
Yeah.
Because it deploys so instantly, right? I mean, it's just free poke. You use that.
Yeah.
It's 2 Bluestone procs a wave, just about if the other person steps up. I think she's got great early clear too, right? So if we run into that pressure meta, she's gonna do fine.
Yeah.
Kernanos, I don't know. Did they buff Kernanos?
I think they did, but I think someone played him and it didn't make a difference. It's
I put him at bottom of A tier just because I still think he's a strong god.
Really? I
still think he's good. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, would I rather play Kernos or Hachi or Rom? Like, obviously I would rather play them, but like, it's not like, I mean, he's like Medusa, right?
I don't know, man. We have Hu Yi and Amusen Cup in B, and I don't feel like Kernanos is better than those. I don't know.
Maybe you might be right. I don't
know. We put him at the bottom of A.
I think he's also just he's so safe and easy to use too. Like if we're looking at this from a lens of like, would I rather put somebody who is an okay ADC on Hu Yi or Kernanos? Right.
Well, but like all of that only applies as long as you're in a matchup where you can do that. Like imagine him being against the Danzaburo. What's he gonna do?
Yeah, it's true.
This rockets him down. You can dash. You can ult. It doesn't matter. You're dead. Like,
yeah.
It's awkward. Actually, I guess you could ult when Danzaburo's rocket's about to hit you and then morph him after.
Yeah, and then you just turn and burn him. Dash through him. I think you could outplay a Danza pretty good.
True. Well, maybe. But that's what puts him in an A.
I think he's still going to be good. I mean, if you think about it, right, like there's a lot of prioritization around objective burn right now too, right? So
true.
I mean, see the other half of it where it's like you get Xe, you get the prot reduction on his 1, right? You got a jungler with stone cutting, and now all of a sudden you burn Gold Fury in 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. I think. I don't know. I think he's an undervalued pick, but I think it's because people would rather have other gods first.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a Kern or a Cupid?
Yeah.
Cern or Cupid?
Yeah. I don't have a Cupid, obviously, but I guess I'd take the Kern over the AMC.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would take it over to AMC. I'd take it over a Ho Yi, especially somebody who thinks they can play Ho Yi but they can't.
That's the thing, right? I actually like Hui a lot, but I know the problem with Hui players.
Yeah, well, it's like
Dungeon
like,
geometry here.
You can get a good Vulcan, but all the bad Hui players think they're good at Hui, and they try and hit triple taps every time instead of just consistently stunning and using the damage.
Yeah.
They play for style points and nothing else. Bacchus
is bad.
Yeah, I was gonna put him in B.
Yeah, I think Bacchus.
Maybe even C. Just to
yeah, I'm wondering if there's anything that warrants putting him in B. Anything that he has that. I don't think the new items come with a
Odin support than a Bacchus support.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but I think MP5 is still a huge issue for him, and I don't think the new items come with that much MP5.
I don't think so. I think you're correct.
So I mean, at the same time, you're not forced to go hog. Well, no, maybe you might be forced to go hog. If you're not forced to go hog, that would help him, because then he can get mana pots. But even outside of that, I don't know. I don't see.
Yeah, there's like a million other gods I'd rather play over Bacchus.
Yeah, I love Bacchus. I think Bacchus is a really fun character, but I just don't see a purpose for him right now. I think I should put him in C. Like, I don't think he's better than Baba. Which one?
Heimdall?
I have no idea. I haven't seen. I don't know why no one played him on PTS.
I think he is squarely A.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I don't have any opinion.
Items like XE dominance, like he's good. But I think he is squarely middle of the pack. Most people aren't really good at maximizing his kit. He's safe enough, right? You throw a crystal in your tower, you step up to clear, you do your thing, right? As long as they don't have any displacement abilities, you're fine. 99.9% of the time. Good Heims will do well. Good Heims will get him up an A+, but again, I mean, it's like Ho Yi. Most people just play him at a very basic level, myself included, right? Like, I'm not a good Heim player.
I would also say, like, different from Ho Yi, it's not the player's ego that gets in the way. It's just that his kit is not easy to play very well, because you need to do a lot of things right. He's got a lot of intricate mechanics that you can learn, but you have to want to do that.
Dude, we're at the end.
Hades.
Wait, Hades?
Hades. I still have 3.
Oh, I have Hades and Horus.
Kumbhakana.
Oh. I might have jumped ahead there.
Where did you Kumbhakana go?
I put Kuma just solid A tier, I think.
Yeah, okay. I'll place him there. We're done with that.
End of A. I mean, he's just annoying, right? He'll always be good.
Yeah.
Hades, I put in A+ because he's just a good character.
Yes.
I mean, he's in the top win rate for like 6 months. He's strong, I think.
It's really hard to say how he's gonna do on the new patch with the new items, both in solo and in middle. So it's really hard to place him. But I think A+ is a good call. He's got a lot of things going his way. His sustain is often, but not always, in combat, so it's not the worst for that. And yeah. Horus.
Horus depends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know. Like, if you suggested Horus in anywhere between A+ to B, I would not necessarily disagree, because
I was gonna put him on the high side of A.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
And the reason for that is, I talk a lot about the idea that season 8 is going to be a lot of like counter farming, right? Where you're just, sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought. Where you're trying to apply pressure on the opposite side of the map that a gank or an objective gets taken. And Horus has the ability to bring whatever player he's with him to do that, or even his whole team, right? So if they're running towards Gold Fury, I literally could just ult and drop everybody on the Fire Giant, and I can do that very quickly. So I think when you start to see this like kind of seesaw map play that I truly believe is going to be the way the game's played, just in my limited testing, or it's the most effective way, like where you're making trades, like we're going to give up Pyro here, but we're going to take gold. We're going to not rotate to this ADC gank, but we're going to take the Fire Giant. I think we're going to see a lot more of that.
Mhm.
And I think Horus is going to do well with that. I'm not particularly jazzed about his healing anymore, but I think you can kind of counter that with CAD Shield realistically, which is a good
Yeah.
build on him.
Yeah.
Regardless, and I think that out of combat healing, you know, if you offset it with CAD, will still be strong. I was going to put him at the top end of A.
Yeah, I think the complication with Horus as well is that it hinges a lot on how well you utilize his ultimate in the entire game, basically, and that can put him up or down. What I think is a bit of a problem for him is, again, the map is bigger and his rotations with the ult will not get you as far in every situation. So that's something to be aware of, that you might not exactly drop where you would drop on the ult map. So I feel like that's also, like, even for like people who play a lot of Horus, it's going to take a bit of practice to know where you want to ult from now. And depending on that, we might see him go up or down. And yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's you move less of a percentage of the total map with his ult now, right?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's where I think it depends on like what the scale of the actual map movement changes are, right? Because it's like 30% wider or 20% longer, right? Is it 30% wider from Fire Giant to Duo? Has everything moved 30% from the middle point?
I think everything has been stretched, yeah. As far as I understood it, anyways. But
Yeah,
I haven't measured it either, so.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about, right? Because like I'm thinking about from like a Thor ult perspective, like where you can ult from to secure objectives and whatnot, right?
Yeah, I think that has changed. I think it's I'm pretty sure that the layout of the map in itself, in terms of like the Fire Giant is this far off center from middle and solo, hasn't changed, but the absolute distance has changed. So
yeah,
I think that
percentage wise, yeah. No. It's just interesting to think about, because like if there's more space added on one side of the FG or the other, right, then does that matter?
Yeah, that would make a difference. But I don't think it was changed like that. I think it was changed in a way where it's just evenly distributed between all the areas. But don't quote me. I'm just going from my limited understanding and my impression of how the map felt as well.
Yeah. I would put him on the high side of A though.
Still. Yeah, definitely.
I should have zoomed out so people could actually see my whole tier list here, but I've done it now.
Oh yeah, I can barely fit it on here.
I think I'm just gonna screenshot it and have my editor just paste it over everything at the end while we talk. Yeah, there's two pictures of Danzabro.
That's because he's so pretty.
Yeah, let's put him up there twice. He goes up there twice.
He's up here. If you haven't seen the other one, he's here. Oh wow, that was a lot.
That was a lot of work. Why am I so bad at this? There we go.
We have a pretty top heavy list still, even after everything. But
I like that though, because I mean those are things that are good. Like it means that there's so much variety.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you get these all the SPL lists are like bottom tier. It's like what are the top 15 gods that you could play after picks and bans, and then like everything else is dog shit.
Yeah. I think obviously there's gonna be a few gods that are going to go down as well. I think it's just like some predictions based on some item changes that may not turn out as effective as you'd expect, and I think that'll change it and shift it a little bit more to the middle. But I'm down with it, and like the less gods we have in lower tiers, the better, right? Like if every god's playable on a decent level, that's good. And we've seen that last year as well, like the balance shifts in the SPL and everything, that a lot of gods were played. Like there were very few gods that were not touched in general. I think.
Yeah, I think there was like, I think Loki was the only one that wasn't played in the entire tournament.
He was played in the SPL.
No, he was played by Sanguine.
Yeah, he was played. He was played multiple times even. So I don't know if Artemis was played actually, but.
Dude, we love Jing Chen around these parts.
All right. With that, we're coming to an end. Wraith, do you have any last words?
No, this was a lot of fun. I'm really interested to see where this shakes out in the next like 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I want to see season 8 launch. I want at least 2 rounds of balance changes, because the first pass is going to be light to try and like I just tell you how I think they're going to work. I think the first pass will be light to try and address some glaring issues and break cases.
Animosity.
I think the second pass will be heavier, and then I think we'll get a month of testing off of that before things start to settle. And then I think we're going to really see where these gods shake out. I mean, a lot of this is speculative, obviously. It's just based on like, you know, conjecture based on what we know about the gods. But, you know, this was like a fun exercise to guess. And now it's like, okay, well, like, what's the reality? You know what I mean?
Okay. Thanks for being on. I completely agree with your stance there. Thanks for joining for this. It was very fun. I hope we can do this again.
Yeah, I love doing this.
To have some closing words, because I know some people are going to skip right to this point and be like, oh, this is what it looks like, and now I understand everything. If you have any questions about a god, please skip back to the part of the video where the god's talked about, because that will probably answer your question in 90% of the cases. Generally speaking, again, this is based on PTS, the experience of 3 people on PTS, what we've seen in our games. That doesn't mean that it's like the law. Tier lists always come with a little bit of personal bias, or a lot of personal bias depending on the god. There's just an estimation to give you a good idea of what is probably going to be strong. This area is what you probably be looking to be banning around ranked. Like I think especially like if you look at like Danzaburou, Tsukuyomi, King Arthur, Set, those are gods that you are probably going to see in bans a lot, because they are going to be doing very, very well. And yeah, I think that explains most of this. And for everything else, skip back to the last 3 hours, which will explain more in detail. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching, and thanks again to Wraith and Flareb00t as well, who already had to leave, for joining me for this. Their links are down below, you can check them out, and you can also subscribe to me if you haven't yet. And other than that, I hope to see you for the next one soon. DukeSloth, out.